We're doing okay.
Yeah.
We'll challenge you a little bit and say, as I've described legislation in Kentucky's state house recently, less bad does not mean good. So I'm not sure if that's what you were implying, but... Yes. Yeah. Good for its neck.
I
Good for its
definitely
neck.
know.
I was born in 1991. Should I know this or not?
Ooh. Professional.
Oh, I did just Google log. This is how my brain works. So now I'm just looking
Google
at pictures.
log 5e?
No, just log. Just log. So I just got great pictures of
Ren and Stimpy log. It's an excellent little jingle. Ren and Stimpy was like a whole moment that I guess both of you are probably too young to have.
I know of.
I know of it, but
It uncanny, like that they got away with. I mean, not got away with, but like the animation and the viscera of it all is just. How is that a kid's show? They had a lot of like jingles on the show, so it was like, "Don't whiz on the electric fence." I don't know why that's in my head, but that's in my head.
Prez cannot hear you.
no.
Papa, can
How
you
about
hear
now?
me?
Yeah, so like I've been fighting my audio for like weeks here. I've like got kind of a workaround because I have not resolved the actual problem. Should there be anybody out there who is like some master of OBS that wants to like show up and help me, I'm here for it. Please, you save me. You're my only hope.
OBS 1 Kenobi, is that what this is?
Yeah, that's what I need. I need OBS 1 Kenobi, please. OBS 1
I was about to
Kenobi.
make that joke before you said, "Help me, you're my only hope."
Oh God, it's right there. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm turning it now. Like I'm like so out of sorts trying to fix this audio. I can't even like turn the stream on, like getting things right.
We want to talk Star Wars codes. Big debate in our little community. Was this last week, Taylor? Was this? Yeah, it must have been last week. About is Obi-Wan a jerk for OBS 1 Kenobi? Is Han Solo a jerk for saying "I know" when Leia tells him she loves him?
I mean, definitely not. He was the original cool guy. Like he's too cool to "I love you" too.
It's
like,
kind of his way of saying "I love you."
It's his
Definitely.
way of saying
like,
I love you.
You know,
Yeah, because he obviously has holdups, right, about just coming out and saying it. And so
that's not
like
the
his
only
way of
reason
saying
people thought Han Solo was a douche. There's lots more things that people point to, but specifically, it was annoying to people that Han Solo did not say "I love you" back. So, big debate.
I think in some ways it depends on how you understand Leia as a character. Like, is she expecting "I love you" back? Does she want "I love you" back? If so, then he's kind of a dick. But if she doesn't care,
She loves Han Solo, and he's a cool.
Yeah,
cool
I mean,
dude,
that's
you know?
my take. Is like she's in love with like this guy who is who he is. He so like gets in his own way. There was no chance he was going to say "I love you" too. That's not like a Han Solo reply.
Exactly.
You know? It clearly isn't because like things didn't work out for them in the long term, right? Yeah.
So then people asked if the Han Solo replied because Han Solo is a douche. That's the counter argument.
I mean, I think maybe both things are true. I think Han Solo might be a douche, but he wasn't a douche just for that one thing. How about that? Does that count? Like, that was acceptable, nonetheless. Yeah.
I think it was in character, but I also think it's a bit of a red flag. Just my opinion.
Yeah. It's a very take.
Yeah.
It's a very fair take.
I will say it's better than if she said "I love you" and he went.
Nice.
Chewy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys like excited for this Obi-Wan show coming up? Does anybody care about that besides me? I'm pretty hype about it.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're bringing back Hayden Christensen, like young. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that was my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my vibe.
He was like, I don't like Star Wars, but I know he wasn't Obi-Wan.
Nope.
No, they recast Obi-Wan.
Yeah. No.
With
They're
Hayden
bringing
Christensen.
back Ewan McGregor as well. Hayden Christensen was, young Anakin or whatever in the prequels, right? So it's gonna be very weird. I don't know. That seems like a bold choice. I'm like equally excited and very nervous about it. You know.
So what I'll say, like I did not watch Star Wars as a kid. So I watched probably so that's not true. I watched the prequels as a kid, but not in a way of like I need to keep watching these. Like I'm obsessed with Star Wars. I just watched them. They were just movies to me. And then when I was like probably 18 or so, someone at university was like, "How have you never seen Star Wars? You have to watch Star Wars." So I watched the 3 Star Wars. I really, really liked them. Obi-Wan in the originals doesn't really do a lot for me. But when I went back to watch the prequels, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is the best part of the prequels.
Far
and so the fact that the show is like Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi has me very excited.
Yep.
And I think that there's so much that they could do with Hayden Christensen that like Clone Wars does a lot to like fix that I feel like could actually be interesting.
Agreed. Yeah, Clone Wars is like really an incredible work. It's one of like the best pieces of Star Wars, you know. I don't know. I know like Troy's take last year that like Star Wars is always a little bit of like, "Merp, it's Star Wars, right? It's like,
All Star Wars is bad. Was
yeah,
that the
like
quote
it's-
you
Wait,
said?
wait,
Was that
wait,
what
wait,
you
wait,
did?
wait, 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 wait,
I don't know
wait.
if
What did
Was
you
that
say?
my take? I don't think that was my take.
what
was
was
your
your
take?
take?
That's like saying that his take is I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Well-
I'm pretty sure I was on a podcast with Wiggler
Mm-hmm.
about a prequel,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and I contended that all Star Wars is good Star Wars.
Okay. Somebody else probably said all Star Wars.
I didn't
Someone else
say-
said that basically they were trying to say that the Phantom Menace was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically trying to say, I think it was the Phantom Menace. See, now I don't remember. I just remember thinking I need to have a strong opinion on this because
It was the
it's-
Phantom Menace.
whoever I
You
was
guys had
talking
a yippee off, like We Stand a Local Boy, all of that was like Phantom
It was with
Menace.
Zed.
that is the birth
with-
of I don't
Yeah,
know.
and with Wiggler.
Yeah.
And I contended that like it's fine. Star Wars is good Star Wars. Like it's fine. They're giving us a Star Wars. I cannot be mad at this. I also contend that the storyline of the prequels, the like political intrigue and all of that, and like the Jedi Council and how they fit into the larger stuff, like that's all good stuff. That's all super interesting to me. They don't, I don't think, do the best job of explaining it, but you know, this idea of like Palpatine get whatever. I'm not going to go off on a rant, but just to say that like pre-Vader Star Wars getting more of that is interesting to me.
Agreed. It's really good stuff. My paraphrasing of like, I think that your take on Star Wars was all Star Wars is. That's like what I meant, really. Is that like all Star Wars is good Star Wars? It's all fun, but none of it is like flawless art, folks. You know,
No.
like let's stop
Except
like
maybe
pretending
Empire
that it's
Strikes
like.
Back.
Yeah, immaculate, like unimpeachable art. Like there's a lot of like peaks and valleys across the journey that is Star Wars, and
I think that's
fundamentally,
kind
like,
of the point of
it's
all
good.
Star Wars is bad as well. Is
Yes.
like it's like not it's not like the greatest thing, but it's fun.
Yeah,
So
That's
it's
my
like-
take on the
Yeah.
Fast and Furious franchise. It's like
Yeah.
they're all fun.
Do I have to watch that franchise? I've been putting it off. I don't.
Yeah,
do I?
I
Can
also
get
You watch it
No.
all at 3X.
Let me put it,
Well,
let me
yeah.
put it this way:
You've,
if I
you've
cannot,
not seen a single effing movie?
No.
if I cannot convince Adam to watch a Fast and Furious movie because I wanted to make an entire PvP about the Fast and the Furious, then I'm not sure I'm going to be able to convince you.
Was that PvP about like Harrigan and Turtles? Was that the whole
The
PvP
original
one?
conception of
Oh,
the current
right.
PvP I'm running was the Fast and the Furious.
I love it. I just
Because it
love
was
the
all
idea
the
of like,
Fury. It's all the Fury of the Fang. So it's going to be the
Yeah.
Furious and the Fast. We had to make some adjustments. I had every intention of having an NPC in this town be like Dominic Toretto and just be all talking about. And then it kind of just morphed because
This is a total random aside, but you say Dominic Toretto, and all I could think about is I'm a big fan of like popular Twitch streamer Asmongold, who plays like a lot of World of Warcraft. He's like the Twitch streamer of like gamers, and he started playing Final Fantasy 14 this summer and had a guy in his raid group named Dominic Toretto, and the character avatar in the game was explicitly Dominic Toretto. Like it couldn't have been more Vin Diesel. It just was this dude in jeans and a tank top, like fighting dragons, and it was. The coolest thing I've ever seen. This guy was like really good too. Anyway, on that note,
hold on. I gotta get one more comment in,
Yeah.
which is just to say, like to your point, Kurt. I think a lot of people will judge the Fast and Furious movies against the quality of film, of like art, but you absolutely cannot judge those in that
There's
way.
flicks and there's film.
That's right.
And they're definitely flicks. And I just watched F9 and listened to a couple Pop Culture Happy Hour podcasts about it. They raise a great point. It's like it's extremely diverse in its casting and doesn't make a single big deal about it. It just is,
right?
It's not part of the message. It's not part of anything that they're trying to convey, other than there are a couple of references. I mean, John Cena and help me out with the main guy. Dominic Toretto is played by
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. Yeah, John Cena and Vin Diesel are brothers. They make a joke about the bloodline being very diverse, but that's really about it. But there's no like sweeping social commentary.
How was John Cena in the movie? You can't even see him. Everyone.
You know what's really funny?
On
I
that
only
note.
know that from like league esports.
Like not wrestling. Yeah.
Like, nothing to do with John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with.
Noted. I will go back and watch the Fast and the Furious movies at some point, Kurt. And we will certainly revisit it.
They've got 2 more on deck, so you're gonna have 11 to catch up on.
We were talking about doing a Lord of the Rings marathon day. We could scrap that and do
damn it, sorry.
Fast and Furious all day.
No.
We could.
I'm so down for it. The thing you just have to know, it's not about cars, it's about family. It's about family.
It's all about family.
It's all about
And
Cars that are families.
and people who can't.
Yes, much like in Pixar.
Wasn't that a Pixar movie? Yeah, it was.
It's Cars in the Fast and
Cars
Furious.
is a great movie.
It's so
the same
good.
universe.
Can they do a Pixar Fast and Furious crossover? Oh,
Where like
definitely
all the
could.
cars from Fast and the Furious, like you suddenly like get their input. They're like, these guys drive really fast. I don't
It's
know.
gonna be
It's very
like,
dangerous.
But they don't seem that angry.
Fast and slightly annoyed. But
I'm just imagining Lightning McQueen and be like, Dubai.
Yeah.
What? Hey, look at that there.
Owen Wilson.
What are we doing here in the UAE? I thought we were getting to USA.
I didn't know you had a Larry the Cable Guy impression.
Yeah, really?
It doesn't surprise me,
goodness.
but I love it. Yeah.
it's on point too.
Emmy, please.
It's on point. It's a good one. Well, you guys are Fast and Furious. You have a spaceship, and you're out here hunting oppression.
Woo!
Yeah.
Are we?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought we were seeking knowledge.
We might have caused a bunch of oppression,
A
actually.
little
so-
bit, yeah, inadvertent, maybe.
1 parsec at a time.
So, Dungeons and Dragons, Dragonfly, space, all those things. We'll do a recap. We left off at like an interesting little juxtaposition. It's been a couple of weeks as the internet abandoned me last Tuesday and was like, nope, not today, buddy. No streaming for you. So, do you guys have any questions? Is there any like homework stuff?
Oh, gosh.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to say no, because I can't even remember what I'm supposed to ask.
Exactly. Perfect. Kurt, we talked about your stuff. You did the level up. You got the hit points. We talked about like the favorite foe, extra double down on oozes. That's all cool. So I think we're in good shape there.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So, I suppose, without further ado, we should get back into it.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. So, where last we left our adventurers, the crew of the interstellar vessel known as the Dragonfly, the lot of you were en route to make contact with Afaris the Wizened, a sage whom you met in your travels across the stars. While journeying across the void of space, old Ben, your compatriot on the ship, spotted off the deck a piece of wreckage floating through the void. It seemed to have a ship docked onto the side of it. It appeared to be like a pier or a dock from some larger piece of structure that had been torn apart. A small vessel attached to the side of it, figures scurrying around on this long length of metal as it kind of hurtled through space. But you saw a second ship closing on the first in an aggressive formation as they were dropping in, closing into the scene. Yes.
I scan the dock-like area so that it is officially peer-reviewed.
That was worth stopping down for.
Wow.
The peer-reviewed dock in your sights. You began closing in, realizing quite quickly that the second vessel was attacking the first. Interceding as you could, you managed to stop the fight. Lux firing warning shots, Jake firing ballista ferociously into the engines of the attacking ship. The second vessel, with the seeming pirates on board, wheeled through the air as Yana leapt onto the deck, grabbing hold of the wheel with the helmsman, steering it back into the piece of wreckage. And wreck it did, as the second ship, the pirate ship as it were, managed to crush their ship's mage. Reya, using the magics of Clancy, held their captain with these spells, paralyzed as it were. Some of you tried to rescue him while the ship cartwheeled off the wreckage into the void of space, but alas, he was lost, leaving you with some few of these invading pirates, 3 as a matter of point. Their fourth, an ogre named Weem, who was unleashed from the ship in the midst of the battle. So with these 4, a quick conversation reveals they were prisoners who had escaped and were following the lead of their commander. They had spent most of the last month kind of scavenging, pirating, and pillaging across the stars to gather supplies to keep themselves alive. Meanwhile, the ship that had been docked on the peer-reviewed dock, too many docks, was a crew
What's up, Doc?
Was a crew of dwarven salvagers here to gather the wrecked debris from this place and resell it to interested purchasers. Having saved their lives, they spoke with you for a time, revealing that they thought that this bit of wreckage was left over from an ancient structure from long before, something mysterious that they referred to as excuse me, sorry. I lost myself in my notes. Right. They refer to as the intergrade transfer. The metal being old and rare was worth quite a bit of money to them, which is why they stopped to take this stuff here. They had a prisoner on board, a dwarf named Heller, who the lot of you had all run into last season in your discovery of the Mordekaiser. Heller has a 10,000 gold piece price on his head, and the scavengers, these dwarven scavengers, are delivering him to a dwarven mercenary outfit known as the Gauntlet, who are en route to Cerelia, where they plan to meet with the barons of the Sahagwin Empire to determine whether or not they're going to hire on and assist in their revolution. That was a lot. It was a little confusing. But as we open back up tonight, the Dragonfly and the second vessel, the Dwarven Salvager's ship, are moored to the peer-reviewed dock floating through space. The pirate's vessel having blasted itself apart and floated away, taking the captain with it. You're left with 4 prisoners, including the ogre Weem, the crew of Dwarven Salvagers, yourselves, along with a bit of information.
Is he an ogre? Last time I thought he was a giant.
We kept calling him a giant. He was maybe a hill giant. That's my bad. Yeah, he is. He's a hill giant.
No, yeah. You're the DM.
He's a
hill giant?
Yep.
Okay.
And so, as the camera opens back up and we take in the sight of the Dragonfly, the much smaller scavenger ship moored to this dock that's just untethered to anything floating through the void, this cluster of prisoners sitting around the hill giant, the lot of you on the deck of the Dragonfly. What do you all want to do?
Well, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Any ideas? Suggestions?
Well, what are our options?
Well,
Take them somewhere.
yeah.
Leave them with the scavengers.
Where they
Yeah,
will
they-
likely be killed.
Yeah, it seems like they really want to kill him.
We were kind of killing them anyway, weren't we?
What? We're not just killing people willy-nilly.
No.
the
very-
ones who wouldn't stop fighting, we killed. Yeah.
I think the most important thing to figure out would be what do we want to do? What should be done with the prisoner, with Hela? Do we trust them to take care of him, or do we not?
I mean, they're gonna take him to the gauntlet, and he's probably gonna get put on trial or something, and possibly killed.
Yes.
Which
Is that
doesn't
not
sound...
a risk that he took when he mutinied?
Mhm.
I mean, sure, but like, you know, if there's something we can do about that, like, clearly the gauntlet isn't like an awesome place, shipping out mercenaries and this crazy Brazzoli, the Chaos Brewer. Like, that doesn't sound good to me, and I would like to maybe take care of that and make sure that the kobolds on Cerelia aren't going to get pummeled into the ground because of something that we did.
Yeah, I agree.
So you'd rather turn about and deal with things back in Cerelia than continue on our course to meet with Aferis?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we're kind of on a little bit of a, you know, time has shifted a little bit. I think that this is the more pressing issue.
I am wholeheartedly against going back and retracing our steps. We should be forging forth into unexplored lands and watching our tail.
Well, not all of us have a tail, but I imagine you mean
Jake
metaphorically.
slowly turns around and is trying to like... I honestly don't know if I have a tail.
Yeah, you see, I kind of gave out the pamphlets and feel like, very responsible for them potentially being destroyed and killed and enslaved again, you know? So,
What, the kobolds on Cerelia?
yeah.
And we also took Ben, which was very illegal.
Well, perhaps Ben would have an opinion about this. Should we invite him to this discussion?
Sure. I guess, like, we're not necessarily going back to Cerelia. We're going to the Gauntlet, where the Sahagwin are going to meet with...
Yes, I
And
did
hire
not
the
follow that
gauntlets.
closely. Remind me where exactly that is. What we are.
It's a flying fortress. It's one of like the dwarven citadels flying through space, and the gauntlet itself, they're like taking their citadel to Cerelia to meet
Got it.
with the Sahagwin. Yep.
So in that way,
Go
So
to
then
the
we are-
gauntlet. We will be at Cerelia.
Yep. Sorry, that was Taylor knowledge, not mixing with luck knowledge.
Wait, do we know that it's? Wait, do we
nix
know?
that.
Do we know that it would take the whole time to get to Cerelia? Like, what if we could go to the gauntlet and convince them not to meet with the Sahagwin?
You definitely can intercept them. They're like en route, and what the scavengers told you is like, we're gonna scavenge this shit, and then we're like making a beeline for them. We're gonna like go find them, and we're gonna dump off Heller, and we're gonna like sell them our like scavenge, and we're gonna make our way.
The gauntlet, they're a mercenary, like they are hired mercenaries?
The Gauntlet is literally a mercenary guild. The Gauntlet like refers to their organization and kind of like their stronghold, right? But they are essentially just a guild of mercenaries that like this is what they do. They get like hired out to like fight wars and support like, you know, governments and this kind of stuff. So they have been like entreated to meet with the Sahagwin barons and see whether or not they can come upon an agreement to aid the Sahagwin.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's maybe not going well for the Sahagwin if they need to hire a mercenary.
no, I shouldn't think not. Anytime one must bring in reinforcements, it's not a good endorsement of your success thus far. You know, our history is littered with many examples of invading forces that felt that they could smash their enemy quite quickly, but
Like what?
well, for example, there was a small force that once came out of Rune, was believed to be of great power, despite its small number, but once it hit the ground in the invading moon, it met fierce resistance. And part of that was a lack of information. They did not know what to expect. They simply relied upon the powers of the weapons that they had, their person.
Any
Generally,
other examples or
Oh, the countless
like a second one?
examples.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about it later.
What do we do? Anything in particular? Reya?
No. Just wanted to see if the facts you were saying held up. If you had examples.
My comments are not universally accurate, but they are usually based on sound historical fact.
Yeah, you seem very smart. So
That's very kind of you. Not always.
I'm just pulling your leg, Reg.
Oh,
Not literally.
I see. Well, perhaps if we were to attempt to intercept the gauntlet, would that not solve both problems at once? We could attempt to cut off reinforcements to Cerelia and deal with the Hela situation.
Do I know how powerful the gauntlet is? How many? I would expect I do not, actually. I've pretty much just lived on my home planet.
Would Lux know
so-
anything about this
yeah,
other
sorry.
guild?
Make a history check, Lux.
Maybe Lux can help with this situation.
Let us see what Lux knows.
Yes, that was like Reya asking, like, if we like set off something that's bigger than we could ever deal with,
Yeah, exactly. No, not a thing. Not a
Never
single
heard of
thing.
him before today.
Wow.
Don't really know much about mercenary guilds, just, shipping.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I thought of another example, if you would like,
Oh.
Reya.
Yeah.
It was early in the consolidation of power on the world we now know as Homeworld. The captain at the time, known as Poutine, did a raging defense against incalculable odds, and was able to withhold a small portion of the homeworld for quite a period of time. Now, ultimately, things being as they are, a sort of supply line was cut off, and all of the people in that particular region did die of starvation and dehydration, but their defense was long held and written well in the history books.
Yeah, that part about things being what they are sounds ominous. So, no, I'm just saying things being what they are. People died of starvation. That does not. I feel like our crew here should, I'm in favor of going to try and stop them, whatever means necessary, because if that's the way things are, I don't like that,
No.
So,
I think it's at this point you hear the sound of somebody like making their way up to the deck as like the hatch opens and Ben comes out like, I just caught that last bit, but nobody's gonna die of starvation here. I made some cheese grits. Here you go.
oh, wow.
Thanks, Ben.
Plate? You want a plate?
And
Yeah.
I would say dying of dehydration on a water planet would be quite something.
Yeah, that's true.
Nevertheless, it does give a sense of urgency to address the situation. Oh, thank you, Ben.
Well, yeah, if we check out the gauntlet and see, we check it out, see what it's like, and develop a course of action from there,
We could follow in the scavengers and
Asturias left some of their diplomacy pamphlets, and if that doesn't work, Reg can draft up a military plan. So,
yeah, my worry is that somebody that's named Brazzoli the Chaos Brewer might be difficult to talk with. But
Perhaps, but
what if it's one of those nicknames that he didn't give him? Somebody else thought it'd be. Like how some
That
people
would
call it. A big guy is tiny. He could be a totally mellow dude, and someone just said, well, it would be funny if we call him Chaos Brewer.
Or he granted it to himself, and we all know
Yeah.
that's often accompanied by delusions of random.
It's
yes,
really
a title
exaggerating.
that is unearned is certainly not one to be respected.
What if he makes a good mead, like an ale he just calls Chaos, and it's just a drink called Chaos, and he's the Chaos Brewer,
Well, I
Honestly,
did
all
have
of
that
these,
thought. Things do take time to brew, and so if the elements of
Ooh.
chaos have been newly introduced to the situation, perhaps they have not been brewed yet.
it's fair.
One can
Yeah.
still be.
Oh,
a
you're
brewer.
still talking about brewing being a metaphor, though.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe
Like-
so. Yes, in this instance, where
Yeah.
this Brazzoli to be
Brazzoli.
intending to brew chaos, should that be their aim,
Hmm?
it may take some time.
Yeah, but I was saying, what if Chaos is an ale that they're brewing,
Yeah,
and it's just a
Actual
drink
brewing.
called
Physical,
Chaos?
physical.
Yeah,
brewing.
Why
Yep.
on earth would
Yeah.
you name a beverage
They-
chaos?
like they have brewed.
I mean,
Have
that's kind of
you
cool. I
heard
don't know.
drink names
IPA.
that- Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it seems kind of
probably
cool.
super
huh?
happy.
UP,
Yeah.
Yeah.
IP.
An India Pale. We all know the planet India.
Of course, yeah.
Indeed. Jake, do you have a nickname?
Jake.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Wait, so if Jake is your nickname, then what's your real name?
I don't have a nickname that I
Oh.
know of. I don't really talk to, hang out with people long enough to earn one.
Well,
would you like one?
I'm good with Jake.
Very well then.
yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a nickname.
Would you like one?
Maybe if you guys come up with something good.
Isn't there a book in the back? It's called Random Name, and you can
You know what?
you can roll
You know
a.
what?
I think. Hold on, I'll go get it.
No. You know what works? Captain.
Somehow I saw that coming.
Captain, you should like to be
No, I'm just kidding.
pointed, referred to. What are we saying here?
No, it's fine.
Are you saying you believe yourself to be the leader of the group, or you'd like to Or simply the
Yeah.
pilot of the ship.
Yeah, it's got to be something to do with the piloting of the ship, the flying of the ship.
Reya runs back in with the book. It says here peanut. It should be. So
Peanut.
there you go. Yeah, peanut.
Peanuts plural or singular?
No, just one.
One.
Is that Captain Peanut? I'm just for my notes.
Yeah.
Captain Peanut.
What do you think of that, Peanut?
Why peanut? What does that have to do with the meat?
Oh, it's just you just
you're-
roll this. You take that and you just pick one from the book.
But I say,
If
I would-
my purpose is to justify this, I could certainly come up with something.
Do you know what?
I would rather it
You-
come naturally.
You showed
But-
us. You showed us at one point. You hid your identity, and then we cracked open the shell and we found the real Lux inside.
There it is. There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
Whoa, what's this about cracking shells? That's not a polite thing to do.
I'm so sorry. I
For once,
I
it
did-
wasn't me.
closed the book. Like throw it on. I don't. No, yeah, that's no cracking shells. Yeah.
Okay.
What's this about to crack? Never mind.
Well,
Would anyone be opposed to us attempting to intercept the gauntlet as quickly as possible?
Ben, do you know
Yeah.
anything? Do you know anything about the Gauntlet? Did the Sahagwins ever hire a group called the Gauntlet before?
Well, they never really had much cause to hire any kind of outside forces. I mean, they had a real stranglehold on the whole situation, boot on our throat, so to speak. I've not really ever heard of them, to be honest with you. I mean, it was very limited travel in and out of Hiroto, and I don't recall any great military units that landed there.
No, that's okay. I was just looking for a loophole after Lux rolled it out.
Is
I love a
And then
loophole.
Ben also just rolled a nat one.
would
Oh, did he?
That's double nat one to start off
Loophole.
today.
would this,
Loophole Lux.
Loophole Lux.
would this
Ooh.
interception involve retracing our steps and going back the way we came?
It does involve going towards a place we've already been, although not necessarily all the way back.
No,
Oh.
but it is not retracing our steps.
Yeah, we've never been to the Gauntlet.
But the gauntlet isn't a location, it's a ship, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So we may be going back to a location we've been to if we're with the gauntlet.
I
Yes.
think that going back to Cerelia is I know it's retracing our steps, but we started something there.
I am fully against it.
I'll be honest with you, I'm really entirely with Jake on this one. I never want to go back to that hellhole.
Jake,
Well,
can I-
what
can I
about your
ask
shop
why?
and the people you left there?
We asked two questions. So.
Yeah,
No, skip mine. Just-
No, no.
what was the question?
Why don't you want to retrace our steps?
Because
Why is
our-
that such a bad thing?
because our mission is to seek out knowledge and to explore new areas.
Well,
And
actually, she kind of told us we could just do whatever the fuck we want.
that's what I want.
But okay, well, that's fair. That's what I asked.
At times like this, I am reminded of advice given to me by my mother when the party is split. What was the other half?
Oh, we'll
Goodness,
split the party. Lux and I will go to the Gauntlet. You guys go to.
no,
Yeah.
that most certainly was not.
we do have two ships.
Yeah, we'll hitch a ride with what's his name? Cade?
I never did really get to say goodbye to Cade. I just kind of left.
No,
Is there anything of interest between here and Cerelia that we've not explored?
yep. Let's look at the map.
The worry is that it's probably time sensitive.
Is it?
I mean, I'd like to save as many lives as possible, personally.
Where are we on the map? Like past Oria, or we're still?
Yeah, you're a little bit like past Oria. Yeah.
Oria is the one place that's that way. I just feel a moral obligation to stop the Sahagwin from buying a mercenary crew that will kill the kobolds.
Well, it seems like maybe we can. I was going to say kill two birds with one stone, but we don't want any birds to die. Maybe
I never
we
really
can.
liked them, to be honest with you. But that's just me personally. I don't.
Well, we have concern that if we leave the prisoners with the scavenging ship, that the prisoners will be killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know where the scavenging ship is going?
To the
They're going to
gauntlet.
be
The
with
gauntlet.
the gauntlet. Yeah, they're going to like
Uh-oh.
take this stuff that they're like scavenging to sell to the gauntlet, right?
Well, there goes that idea. Never mind.
So we could take the. I don't really know the kind of separate issues. What do we do with the prisoners that aren't really going or, doing anything? And like, we could try and catch Cade and see if maybe like they could just bring him somewhere, or.
We'll bring them. They don't. They were prisoners who had no future and just wanted to escape. Could we bring them along until we find NPCs on the ship? Till we find where we might take them.
Yana had started pushing on Ferris Cragdrag, who's like the captain of the scavengers here, to be like, hey, why don't you take this giant and these prisoners and they could go work for you? Like, wouldn't that
He did.
like, be
He
good?
did do
Yeah.
that.
So that was a thing that started last time, just as a reminder,
Okay.
So they might not die if
Yeah.
they go with them. If they're employees.
It's true. That could work. We could ask the captain and see if, be willing to do that.
Lock them in a room until they agree. That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Party splits?
Could
yes,
not
yes.
remember.
Okay, yeah.
Gosh, that sounds terrible.
I thought you meant the
Well-
prisoners. I was like, they were locked in a room and they escaped. So
No, it was when faculty meetings when they could not agree on something. My mother would make them talk it out, and eventually, if two people dug in, she'd lock them in a room until they sorted it out.
They didn't just
Which-
fight each other?
Well, as at times happens when collective in large numbers, Giff-Q at times do resort to their more base instincts. However, if it's only two, often they'd sort it out through barbs and other quick-witted terms.
So, Jake,
Hmm?
what if we go to the gauntlet, we try to negotiate with them not to go help the Sahagman, and if it doesn't work, then, or hopefully it does work, and then we don't have to go to Cerelia. We can go.
I can watch the Mystery Machine while.
I would say, if I could be so bold, that I do agree with Jake in one accord. I have little interest in returning to that planet. So, if our attempts to assist at the Gauntlet are unsuccessful, that simply means that we must find another means of aiding, but by that point, us going back to the surface would have little effect. We are still a small ship of few people.
We're still also badass and have done a lot and could probably lend a hand. And we have friends there. We have Warbeam and Ben's shop and all the kobolds there.
Regardless,
They're
I just
not
don't-
friends. They're family. Let's get this straight. And second
Exactly.
of all, this time they're going to know you're coming. The second they see this little ship come dropping out of the clouds, they're going to send everything they got to drown you under the waves.
We can head up. My opinion is outnumbered, so we can go to the Gauntlet.
Sounds like Reggie kind of was with you. So I don't know if you're outnumbered.
I would happily go to the gauntlet. I simply said I would rather not go to Cerilia's surface again.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't have to come to that. I agree that we should, always keep moving forward. I just, I feel like Reya, we started something and there's a moral obligation a little bit.
I agree that we should move forward, but what is moving forward if we cause the destruction of the thing that was behind us?
Exactly.
That's fair. What's our tactic when we meet with these mercenaries? Do we have an agenda?
We have some time to figure that out. Let's start here first.
And first we must discuss the difference between tactics and strategy. You're discussing strategy.
Well, I keep forgetting it must be that old kobold brain. That's my mistake, Professor.
Yes.
Well, let me say, I have to imagine the most important thing to the gauntlets will be money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are going to have to provide them with more money or something as valuable as the money that they would get from this egg.
Yeah.
How much do you think that Waffle is worth? Apologies.
Professor! Absolutely,
not
we're not
say that
going to talk about this at all.
Hey,
Doc would kill
just
me
saying.
if she was here right now.
There's a ruby tree.
I just want to
top
keep
of
over
There
under how
is.
long before I get the message from Melissa. That's really all I want.
Yeah,
to know.
we'll see.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to see. She's clearly not watching live
No,
tonight.
but at some point she will
Panic
watch
in the
this, and I'm
chat.
gonna get the
Yes.
message.
Save Waffle. Everybody save Waffle.
Also, not for nothing, we are sitting on
Shh.
the
Shh. No.
the Aether station.
Oh. Oh. I thought you were going to say
Yeah,
our
in the
large
Aether
bankroll
station?
that we've acquired and had no.
No, we're not getting rid of our large face.
You don't want to personally
No.
spend your slush fund to hire a mercenary guild? No.
No.
I mean,
Look,
a lot of stuff there.
let's go. Let us see what there is to see and who there is to bargain with or stop and make a decision then.
Hey, Ask.
Yes. The orb just comes levitating up out of the cargo hatch to the top of the desk. The shadowy orb floating there. You're muted, Kurt. I couldn't hear whatever clever thing you just said.
Oh no, it wasn't clever. I just said as it comes above deck,
Yeah.
I go below deck.
Jake going down one ladder as the orb comes up the other.
Jake sits in the pilot seat as well
Oh, nice.
and faces a moral dilemma in the pilot seat.
I love it. The orb floating up, the slitted eye, and the purple shadowy mist within it, as it turns and looks at you. Yes.
Do you know anything about the gauntlet?
No.
Okay.
What you got on the ship?
All right. Thanks.
I think that it's just hovering there awkwardly in front of you, by my understanding of context clues collected within the last hour, they are a newly formed mercenary company which did not exist at the time of my creation.
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks. Very much appreciate it. You can go back to, wherever it is
Yes,
you hang
please
out.
go back.
Yeah.
Must I?
You must. Yes, that is an order, Ensign.
Very well.
We appreciate your help.
It slowly kind of levitates back down.
Captain Loop-de-Loo has told you.
I mean, I know they are a mercenary company, but if there's a pain in their neck, something that we could take care of, that's not the kobolds, then
It's true.
We can offer our services as well.
Too true.
No.
So
Too true. Okay,
Mhm.
so what were you gonna say?
I was going to say to Lux and Reya, I do feel that Jake acquiesced to our request. And if such a situation were to be presented again, I would feel compelled to ally with his opinion. So, simply know that each of us has our time when we must give in to the others, but I should hope it's not the same person always.
Hey, pretty rare for me to disagree with Jake, you know? So,
Boy, howdy.
Highly unusual.
At the captain's at the helm, Jake is hoping people didn't realize he acquiesced so quickly, and he's looking for, because a lot of space looks the same. So who's to say they know which direction the ship's heading in? So where on the map are we currently? Are we near?
You're kind of near Oria,
Oria.
right? You were traveling from the Aether Station sort of eastward for lack of a better, three-dimensional direction.
Rightward.
And you're kind of near Oria now.
The planets always shift. Moral dilemma. Where does he take the ship?
As you're debating, I think that Yana is still like outside, like talking with the captain of the scavengers, kind of like chatting with this Ferris crag drag, and Yana, they're just like, I don't understand. You could take them. I mean, they have a giant and they need work. They are going to be good workers. I mean, it doesn't entirely make sense. You're in need of help, and my accent is not entirely Yana's, but nonetheless, and you hear like the dwarf kind of like rumbling back at them, and so I guess like them having like filled up their ship. I don't know if there's like anything you all want to add as Yana's like looking to you, like making their way back onto the ship, kind of like, I'm not sure. I mean, they might take them, but they also might abandon them here. I don't know what we want to do.
Have you gotten assurances
No.
that they won't kill the prisoner?
I don't think they're going to kill him. No, I mean, a fight might break out. That's a thing that happens sometimes.
Do
But
I have to go talk to the captain again? We'll yell at him again. So terrible.
Yana, when you leave, where do you go?
oh, here and there. I mean, there's always these things to be taken care of, and
Yeah, but so you could go anywhere?
I mean, I don't entirely think it's that easy, but I might be able to go to certain places.
Like somewhere where these prisoners could go and find jobs?
Oh. I could certainly try.
What could we employ them at the Aether Station?
Well, sure.
Do we own the Aether Station? What is?
I mean,
what
we're
is it
kind of
for?
like
Landlords. Perfect. Just what I wanted to be.
Caretaker. Caretaker.
I think Yana's like, I mean, if that's what we wish you want me, I could certainly try to make contact with the...
Yes, there's nothing quite like adding your ranks with people who've recently escaped from a jail. But if you believe...
You never know the justice system.
I
Yeah.
understand deeply.
The helmsman was the only one who actually confessed to murder, but other than that, you're not sure what the rest of them did.
It is a white-collar crime ship.
People who
With the
have
giant?
found themselves in the justice system
Just
are still
embezzling.
worthy of
Yeah.
work and need jobs and can be great employ. I would be supportive of returning anyone that Yana is capable of transporting to the Aether Station, yes.
I think that, okay, Yana then can be like, well, all right, I'll reach out and we'll see if our friend there, the Kirin, can help me, and all right, I'll get them back to the Aether Station.
I don't want that to feel like I'm like, ooh, very quick way to.
I mean, none of that.
That's
I'd
But
like-
yeah,
that's
okay.
good.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Cut back to the cabin as Jake sits in the Spelljammer helm.
Jake will head towards the direction where we think the gauntlet is.
Okay. So, having like dealt with Ferris for a minute here, leaving Yana. I think that there's like a little bit of like chaos and like panic happening with the prisoners as they're like, what do you mean you're gonna leave us? And Weem's like, more cheese. And so Ben is able to like give him some grits and calm him down, and Yana, like, you know, using that like high paladin charisma, kind of calming everybody as the two ships leave them floating stranded on this piece of wreckage.
I thought he was using a teleportation. There was a teleportation thing in our ship.
Oh, he can, but yeah, he can't. Like
They can.
They can't. Yeah, they can't just teleport, but it will be taken care of. Yana's like, don't worry about it. I've got a few tricks up my sleeves.
Okay.
Okay.
What a strange.
Also, the inspiration for Yana's character is the perfect inspiration for you to feel like you haven't nailed their voice.
I know.
It actually like fits very well.
The
Yes.
the ever floating kind of doctors that are Yana. And so with that, with Jake piloting the Dragonfly at the helm, the lot of you begin following the small dwarvish scavenger ship as it like unmoors from the peer-reviewed dock and begins journeying through the stars. Yeah, so what are a lot of you doing here? Is there anything like notable during this journey? You guys, is there anything like you want to do or go over? Anything specific?
Lux.
Go
ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, go.
No.
How long is the journey?
I don't know if that's good or bad for us.
What?
Sorry, the DM just rolled a
Oh,
d20.
Yeah. How long is the trip?
Right. So I think that you think it's going to be somewhere in the region of like a day or two.
So I have a third level spell slot that I will use to cast Sending to Ferris to let him know we are not on our way. Let me just look at my previous messages I've sent to Ferris.
Yeah. Okay.
So say howdy, it's the Dragonfly crew. What is my line? Not trying to be confrontational.
Yep.
But we're
Not trying to be confrontational.
but we're actually not coming. We have. Is somebody counting?
No.
No.
We're
Okay, howdy, it's the Dragonfly crew.
okay.
Not trying to be confrontational,
I think that's got us at 9.
but
I think 10.
we're not coming. Something has come up. We'll reach out soon. Praise Clancy. No, PC. Praise Clancy.
Praise Clancy. And so I think it's like a moment before you hear the response from a Ferris of like, very well. No rush on my end. I can linger for some time. There are people here I look forward to introducing you to.
Ooh.
I relay that to the crew.
Interesting. That's fun. Well, that's something to look forward to if we, survive the gauntlet.
And so the cameras
think-
pull back following the pair of ships. Yep.
Can
Go
I,
for it, Professor? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I do a couple of things. One is I finish copying the last spell from the spell book that I borrowed from the library.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm able to copy at this point, which is well, I'm not sure that I should say, but he has now successfully copied all 4 level 2 spells that he
Noted.
obtained there. Next is that he would give me a second. Let me just make sure that I have this. Okay, no. I think the next thing that he would do is look through. There was a book that he got from the library. After it was a book about the Tortle diaspora that he took from the library itself in the Decidium Spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And so he will begin reading that because he has yet to read that book.
Okay. And so he begins to like dig through the readings of the Tortle diaspora, and like it kind of like the beginning sections are noting some of the worlds where Tortles can be found, like some history of the Tortles, as it were. And you're starting to collect this information. You manage to copy over this additional spell. Okay, awesome.
Great.
Reya would check in with Lux. Are there any other plants on the ship other than seed?
And how do seeds do in space? Or how do plants do in space? Now I'm just saying seeds.
This might also be like a question for Rich. Are there any other plants on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, like, would you have tried to stuff the ship full of plants? Like, there weren't any when you left, right? So, like...
Were there... Well, I mean, Occam was like, you know, kind of it felt like a decorative kind of person.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
if nothing
were there any like
else.
succulents hanging around the Aether Station?
There were
We could,
plants
like,
that
put
could
in
be
the,
acquired,
you know.
so there are some, like, there could be some small plants in the ship. Space is not the optimal environment for plants,
Sure.
but, you know,
Yeah, you know.
it's not the optimal environment for you guys either.
Right.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, just like for
Can I-
decoration
yeah.
when like Doc and I are, you know, fixing up the ship, making it look nice.
Where are there plants on the ship?
Look at
And then I have an Arcana question for you.
hmm I'm gonna leave it to Taylor to like tell me like, would there be plants in the lounge? Like, would you? Are
Okay,
there like?
all right. So, I think there's definitely one.
Let's ask the
We've given
greenhouse girl.
Baylor time to decorate and
Yeah.
Oh my.
character creation.
all right, like,
I've learned.
I don't think there's
Yeah.
plants like everywhere. I think there's like 3 of them, right? I think there's probably like
Okay.
one near the like Spelljammer helm. I think there's
Okay.
like one in the like tent, the like hammock room,
Okay.
right? Like got a little thing there, and then there's one as like a centerpiece in our like table, with the 6 chairs.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Can I an Arcana question I have for you, Rich?
Uh huh.
If you cast, so say you're on one specific floor of the ship, and you cast something that has a radius on it, is the radius also like
The radius is definitely vertical. Yeah.
is the
Sphere.
whole bubble?
Sphere. Yeah.
Okay, so then I would ask, are you okay if the plants get a little out of control? Not in I'm not gonna make them come to life way.
Like grow?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the top. This is only to see if this will work on the ruby.
Uh-huh.
Reya is going to use an action to cast plant growth.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I'll drop that in the chat.
Oh my goodness. I love it so much.
So you cast this spell using one action, choose a point within range. All normal plants in 100-foot radius. Oh, normal plants! The damn ruby isn't gonna be a normal plant, but Reya would have cast it. Oh, it's just that they become overgrown.
It's not just that. If you cast the spell over 8 hours, you can enrich the land.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
gonna
but I'm
spend
not-
8 hours like ritually casting plant growth?
See, well, because then the plant yield twice the normal amount, but that's food.
But if you can you enrich is it enriching the ground?
That's enriching the spell over 8 hours is enriching the land.
land.
The action that you can take immediately just makes everything thick and overgrown. That's actually just difficult movement to move through it.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought would happen was hoping would happen is that the ruby would like burst its rubies.
Well,
I don't think that's going to happen, but I will take the consequences of casting plant growth. It means all the other plants are now overgrown. Is it in the whole area?
it's a
the plants become
100-foot radius.
On the
like,
whole ship?
that's
So now that everywhere on the ship is difficult to
Yeah. I think the plants. So you're just casting like the normal thing, and I think the plants do start like growing like very, very vigorously.
Well, you could like enrich the land and like maybe the ruby will like, yield twice.
Like this soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reya is very wise. So you tell me here, Grace, before we get like too like runaway train, like which version is she casting? I guess because that will matter. Like, which she would know that the first version like isn't necessarily just going to make the plants healthier.
It's just gonna make them overgrow.
Yep.
Okay, I'm trying to enrich the soil. It's just sitting in front of the plant pot for 8 hours.
Okay.
It might not work, but I'm gonna try it.
Oh, Seed just chilling there with like Reya, like doing this thing.
Amazing. So Reya, over like 8 hours, as like we're like cutting the camera, like taking in like the various like scenes in the ship of like Jake in the Spelljammer helm, like trailing through the stars, right? Like Ben like working in the kitchen, Reya like sitting cross-legged in front of Seed on the deck, like chanting to Clancy in this kind of ritual prayer over 8 hours. Reginald like thumbing through the pages of the book about the Tortle diaspora. You enrich the soil of the various pots here on the Dragonfly, ensuring that the plants do not, in fact, grow to like ridiculous proportions and like swamp the ship. But nonetheless, I think that you're like, as you're like casting and like kind of finish the ritual, 8 hours, like kind of exhausted, weary, a little bit of like a chill in your bones from sitting out here on the deck as your hair is kind of like blowing around you, your robes fluttering in the strange breeze that is the ship cutting through space. Seed at the end is just like, this is why you're my favorite. That was so fantastic.
Good, right?
Yes.
Probably like a bunch of blood and bone in there now. Yeah.
The soil is magnificent.
Yeah. You're welcome.
And I think that, like, looking at Seed, right, there were all these little, like, kind of scintillating red buds on the strange kind of tree that you shoved into this, like, not quite large enough pot. I think that like, specifically, Reya, like, the branches look, like, heftier, like, beefier, right? The buds, almost each one, where there was one before, it appears as though there are two. It seems like it's, like, growing with, like, incredible vigor. And while, like, the rubies are not ripe yet, like, you're sure that there will be much more of them, many more of them, when this thing actually, like,
Hell
Certainly hope Seed did not hear me earlier say, there's a ruby.
Oh my goodness.
All right, amazing. Thank you.
The lot of you, like, throughout the rest of the ship, noticing, like, the plants look, like, very lustrous and healthy.
Beautiful. This is so
Grace, making it a Ruby Tuesday. Well done.
I don't even know who to give inspiration to anymore. You guys are too good. You're too good.
Lux is going to go to the compass and is going to finally attempt to cast detect portals using the like extended range of this thing. Going to just try it and see what happens.
So your ability to detect portals very much tied to your plane or horizon walker stuff, right? So as you go to the etheric compass that was taken from the Mordekaiser when you first met Heller, fundamentally, the compass acts as a kind of magical amplifier for a series of things. You could use it to locate specific places that you're familiar with or have heard of, using, like, replicating the magic of Find the Path. It acts as a kind of etheric amplifier when used in tandem with the crystal ball. And so the crystal ball, like, mounted in its pedestal, affixed to, like, this massive kind of compass that has been seeded down in through the work of, like, Doc and yourself to the floor of the ship itself.
Lux will also grab old Ben and his map and like have him kind of on standby if she does like detect anything, so that way we can take note of any portals that she might sense.
Oh yeah, so like old Ben's coming and he's got like a quill in his one hand and like a whole like sheaf of maps, and he's like, who'd have thought these maps would be so useful? I just had them collecting dust in the back of the shop for all those years. I never thought I would ever actually leave Hiroto.
Very thankful, Ben. Thank you for your help.
All right, great. Let's see what you got. And so
Do it.
You like sit, kind of placing your hands on the crystal ball, focusing your mind outward, and like this kind of sixth sense that you possess, you almost feel like a connectivity flowing into the ball. You see runes begin to like alight on the compass as it's like mounted into the floor, right? And kind of like smoke swirling in this scintillating myriad of almost like a vortex inside the glass of the actual crystal ball itself, as your mind begins reaching out further and further and further. Normally, you can reach 1 mile to determine portals. Tortles. Tortle portal.
Here, I'm right here. Why are you doing that again?
This allows your mind to reach even further. And I think that as it's only like a momentary thing, right? It's like this like almost ping, like sonar, like your senses like reach out and kind of come back to you. You feel like almost this ripple, Lux, as like the energy that you're sending through these like conduits of magic reverberate out off of the ship. And as you are cruising along, sure enough, you catch a ping back that basically like 9 miles from your location, like at the very kind of edge of your range, you do in fact sense a portal.
Cool. And can I take note of like the direction that it's coming from?
Let us have you make a like a Spelljammer check with your wisdom instead. With your wisdom.
With my like
as your stat. Yep.
My vehicles.
Yeah. We should
With
just change that to spelljamming.
Yeah. Wisdom, you said, right?
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, I mean, you have like a directional sense of where it is, you know.
Okay.
You probably have to like ping again, closing into it to like really get there. You don't have enough of a bead to like fly blind from here, but like you have a pretty good sense as like you're like a moving target, right? And you're like, oh, like you still can kind of like feel the echo of it, yeah.
Okay.
And as
I'll have,
Jake
like,
is like sitting there next to you, like kind of driving the Spelljammer him, Ben is like, well,
there's something. Take here, and like Lux will like explain what direction she's feeling it coming from.
okay.
Like,
And so like Ben can like kind of sit there with you on one of the rough maps. He's got like his little quill, like dipping it in ink, like scratching notes kind of furiously down in the paper. So what does this mean? Are we going there now, or?
no, I just it's kind of nice to know where there might be portals, and keep an eye on things like that, especially if things are coming in and out of it that we don't necessarily know or understand.
How the heck did you ever figure out you could even do this? It's a very specific sort of thing.
It is, isn't it? I don't really know. I kind of just started doing it one day. It
Remarkable.
helped my parents sometimes, but
Did Lux indicate the direction of the portal?
yeah, she would have.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jake turns the ship towards it.
No, Jake, we're not going to the point.
Jake like cuts the ship and it starts like drifting away from like the scavenger ship, kind of like moving in that direction towards it. Yep.
We shouldn't check it out?
I mean, we can if you want to.
Because it's within a mile. I mean, we're practically...
9
now.
miles.
9 miles in space is like...
I guess that's true. We're kind of moving pretty fast.
It's all relative.
Yes.
If this was a jumbo jet, we passed it. That's what...
So
I mean,
Jake,
Jake will turn the ship back to follow the...
No, I mean, if we're like, it wouldn't take us that long, right? Would it? Like
No.
9 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. For some reason, I was like, that's a long time.
You guys
It's not.
definitely have the faster ship. So Jake like cuts the wheel. Not really. There is no wheel. You're mentally like connected to the ship, Jake. So you kind of like your hands on like these like balls in the side and the handrails of like the helm.
Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah, it kind of is. You just, I love that movie. So it's
Yeah,
so
kids
good.
check that out.
It's so good. You really should check it out, kids. So the Dragonfly like pitches, each of you like feeling as the ship like kind of rotates, Jake like carving it away, and so you begin to move. It's not really that long for you to close the distance of the 9 miles. Like within 10 minutes, the other ship kind of falling away in the distance. You're like carving this way. You're coming forward, and I think that through the cockpit, Lux, Jake, Ben, the three of you here, as like Reya has finished casting her great ritual of plant growth. Reginald sitting in his back cabin kind of thumbing through the book on turtles. The three of you in the cabin see it first.
Lux would be yelling to them, by the way.
Amidst
for sure.
like the flashes of the stars. You'd be yelling to them as you start to gain sight of this or before you get there?
She would probably like as Jake Jake starts going, like she'll go and like get round everybody up and be like, I don't know if you want to see this, but I detected a portal. We're just gonna swing by and see what it is. So you're welcome to come check it out if you want to, but don't interrupt your reading or anything.
Wow, Lux, say reading with a little more condescension. Am I the only one?
I think like Lux would say that to the professor and like leave, and before like he just kind of
What?
and then
Yeah.
just go right back down
Yeah.
into his book.
Excellent.
Been there.
So, as you're like approaching, I think you could see through like the cockpit these big kind of glass steel orbs on the front of this thing as you're dropping down in, the motes of starlight flickering, pulsing in their various kind of hues, some bluish, some reddish, some near purple. As you're closing down in, what you see at first, it looks almost like a cross. And as you're closing in towards it, gaining ground, approaching, you realize like a huge section of it has been like kind of broken away on one side. It's irregular and like imperfect in its shapes. And yeah, I think it's as you're like approaching down and closer now, you get a vision of what looks like a big circular, almost like dais that has these platforms, almost like docks, like piers, like peer-reviewed docks extending off of the center, the middle of this like massive kind of device. It's pretty huge. It's like way bigger than the ship, you're realizing as you're closing in on it. And you're seeing like the one whole half of it has been kind of like broken off. There are like bits missing. You could easily begin, as you're now like looking at it, to piece together the railing that you had just discovered the scavengers on to being like matched to whatever is left here. And I think as you're dropping down into it, you realize there are these enormous concentric circles of what look like metal that are shifting slowly around in this kind of the motion of this almost like gyroscope around the center of the thing. And I think you could see like dull flaring light of like runes etched into them, clearly like driving them in this kind of perpetual motion as you're closing down in on it.
Yeah, I think Lux like redoubles her efforts and goes and like finds Reya and Reggie is like, hey, hi,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Yeah,
want to
no,
see
yeah.
this. You guys are
So-
gonna want to see this.
So Lux left the
Jake.
bridge.
Yes, Jake, you're
Yeah.
here alone. And Ben kind of looks over at you like, what do you think?
I want my friends to continue to trust me. So, and to be fair, like I probably would not have gotten terribly close to it. Like,
Yeah.
I would have like pulled the ship to a stop a fair distance away. So it's not like
Okay.
we're here. It's more
Yep.
like we're here.
Gotcha. Wow, that was interesting. I think that, like, you know, roughly for the sake of, like, keeping track, you're, like, probably about a forest distance away, about a mile-ish. Like, you can see the structure and, like, the big kind of, like, overt, like, features about it without really being able to see, like, any specifics, movement, people, that kind of shit. Yeah.
Is this the same day that we had our fight, or have we slept and this is the next day?
Well, so Reya's been casting for 8 hours. I think probably this is about 20 hours later since you guys have left, you know. It's almost a full day since you left.
Okay, so long resty.
I think you could all have long rested, absolutely. Yeah.
Except for this guy.
Mm.
But he doesn't have to rest. Like, he didn't lose hit points.
Assuming that Lux comes to get the professor, I think the professor would eventually oblige.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. It's really, really cool.
And
Portal.
so I think that Doc is, like, very excited.
Whatever
but
you
like,
say, Pilot Peanut.
I got to do some work on Waffle. There's like some wing issues. I think he was trying to overdo. Yeah, I'll be. Don't worry about it.
The price has gone down.
That's my Melissa impression, by the way. I'm sorry, Melissa. I love you.
Great.
And so, Professor Reya, you follow Lux as she's like making her way back in. At this point, Jake has stopped the Dragonfly. You guys are just kind of stationary, hanging in the void of space, peering down out of these circular windshields, the eyes of the Dragonfly, towards this structure down beneath you, kind of floating in space. This gyroscope almost like moving around the center platform, these big extended kind of docks all moving off the central axis. Yep.
Gosh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
What is it?
It's a portal.
That's a portal.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure about that, but did the scavengers say something about some old thing that was lost out here? The integrate transfer or something like that?
Yes.
Good memory. Yes.
That is my job as the default NPC of the ship to remember all the things you players forget, so don't worry about it.
I guess I could have used some time to look up the integrate transfer, couldn't I? That would have been wise. But alas, I am not wise. I believe that Reya is the more wise of the two of us. Perhaps.
Yeah, I should have told you to look it up.
Do you guys think Ask would know about the integrate
No,
transfer?
I think we need not to inquire. We could...
Okay, if you wish. As you like turn, it's floating right next to
buddy.
you, Professor.
I tried to say it quietly.
The ship is
Doesn't
very
matter.
small.
Even if you whisper, it listens.
Well, do you know, Ask, anything about this thing?
Let me roll some dice.
Yeah.
Really breaking down the nth wall here. I do think while this happens, Reg is making his way over to the other orb that has been an index before.
Reg, make a history check with the other orb.
Integrate transfer.
The Death Star. Ooh.
20, the Death Star. So I think that the accumulating shadow chronicle, this orb with the shadowy kind of eye peering at the lot of you from inside of it, is like, negative. I am not familiar with this location.
Ha! Well.
Okay.
While Reginald, as you are like kind of like drawing menus up, you're like touching the orb, these kind of like illusory like displays appearing, these like text pouring out in front of you as you're like shifting through, digging through, and like sure enough, bing, you find it. The integrated transfer, according to the information you're able to extract from this orb of information, was a very simple type of portal in that it was a gateway from this side of the crystal sphere to the opposite side. There was a corresponding gate on the far side of the galaxy, so to speak.
Oh.
That
Oh,
will,
that's-
in fact, open somewhere near Pavis.
Do not
I
yet
mean-
say this out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I think Reginald will assess this information and say it does appear to be a portal to a
Mhm.
place with which I am unfamiliar.
Erudite.
Excuse me.
Those plants are
Yes.
getting really vigorous, the pollen.
Something is growing
Yeah.
that is counteracting with
Wait, a place that you don't know? So is it outside of our?
it is a place that is far from here, and we do not know what is exactly going to be on the other side.
So do you know where it goes or not?
The information in these orbs is often unreliable and terribly out of date. We saw that earlier at the Decidium Spiral. I would not trust what it says.
In my defense, that orb is an inferior construct.
Yes.
It does not speak.
Yes.
My information regarding all matters affiliated with the plane of shadows, the denizens of that place, and travel between it is highly accurate.
Yes, well, much as that may be true, you are inferior in other ways.
So
You are.
I believe quite certainly that you are.
Oh my god.
Just staring at.
So do you know where it goes or not? Did it say?
I am orb enough to admit I do not.
You know what, Reggie? Forget it. I trust you. Never mind.
If we don't know where it goes, should we go through? We were going somewhere with a bit of a time.
Yeah, we can come back.
Crunch.
I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
I can mark it on the map, come back to it.
And so you guys are going to press on?
Jake will pull the Dragonfly back into an intercepting course with the ship they were following.
Okay.
Lux, I who do not wish to be dishonest with you, I simply believe it is not in our best interest to go through the portal.
I don't think so either. So it's good.
Okay. So, Jake, taking control of the Dragonfly, cuts the ship and the wings begin fluttering, driving you away. I think the camera pulling back as we see this tapestry of stars sprawled out behind the intergrade transfer as it shrinks in the rear view, the Dragonfly like blasting past the kind of camera, pitching away, and we follow it as you eventually come closing in behind the scavengers, leaving the intergrade transfer behind you. So is there anything else of note? You guys got probably another half a day before you get there. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys want to do or accomplish before you arrive.
I think at some point Reg would just ask for any opinions about what sorts of situations he should be prepared for in terms of his spells, or he would ask the others, like, are we preparing for a fight, a negotiation?
Gosh, is it easy to be prepared for both of those situations? Because who knows what's gonna happen?
Whoa.
I know that's not super helpful.
It is something.
I again with the everybody, we've talked about the name thing. Anybody can be named what they want to be named. But we don't know a lot about this gauntlet. It's called the Gauntlet. We know that it's a mercenary guild, and it's run by Brazzoli, the Chaos Brewer. So, knowing all of that, and judging off the only information that we have, we should probably be prepared for things to maybe go south, but try our best for things not to go south.
Very well.
Okay. And so, with that, we watch as the ship following the small scavenger vessel travels through the stars. And I think that we see something like small in the distance growing as we're trailing these two ships approaching them. The camera just pulling in closer and closer as this tiny dot begins to take this roughly triangular shape and closing further and further. You begin to make it out. The lot of you kind of again peering out of the cockpit. You see as you finally start closing in a truly incredible sight. The Aether Station, having been one of the old dwarven citadels that was kind of repurposed into the smuggler's operation, was a very simple kind of square built place with a bit of almost like the top of a mountain hanging down underneath it, right? Almost shaped like an ice cream cone, very simply. Whereas this is almost the opposite as you begin approaching. It looks almost like a mountain, and the closer you come, you begin to see details taking shape as it is carved with stunning kind of detail into the face of a dwarf wearing a helm over it, beard and mustaches kind of carved out of the stone, pouring down off the sides of it, and then this enormous fist raising up above the dwarf's head, holding this massive axe that looks to be somewhere 5 times the size of the Dragonfly. This is a literal flying fortress carved in the visage of the dwarves who inhabit it, right? And I think as you guys are dropping in, you're watching the scavenger ship kind of circling around. You can see movement on some of the parapets in the exterior of this fortress as you're kind of closing in on it. And the scavenger ship circling once begins to make for a landing in one of these side entries, this massive sort of archway leading into a kind of cave, a tunnel right into the side of this mountain. So yeah, you guys gonna follow it in?
Yep.
Are you muted, Troy?
Everyone's muted.
I know. I was sneezing. We didn't really think about this much, did we?
Nope.
Just arrive at the Dwarven Citadel following a... Goodness. Do we have a plan? Do we need a plan? Do we just go in and wing it?
I mean, we were going to try and offer seed, right?
Well,
Or maybe
now...
now?
I don't know. We're gonna see if we could get them to not go be hired by the Sahagwin.
Yes.
Through sheer will and
see what the-
charisma.
While they're talking, Jake is flying right towards it.
Yeah. Clearly.
No, and see what they want. See what they.
Ask
You're
them our
following.
questions and get some answers.
You're following the scavenger ship, Jake, and you've dropped down in her and now flying through a tunnel. It's not like super tight. You've got a pretty decent amount of room, so it's a pretty easy landing as you're coming in. But as you're moving, I think you see a couple of like dwarven sentries with ballistas like mounted right near the entrance. The ballistas kind of like trailing, pointed at you as you go, right? As you follow the other ship, and you see it kind of like lowering down the fiery engine in the back as they have a different propulsion system than you entirely, begins to kind of dwindle, the ship like lowering, other dwarves like taking ropes that are thrown down off of it, begin like lashing it down as you like emerge out of the tunnel, and you see what amounts to like basically like a hangar, right? It's like this very large kind of room that has inside of it a lot of like smaller ships. They're about the same like kind of scale and size as the scavenger's vessel, built in a very different style than the Dragonfly, much like traditional sailing ships, kind of open. They look like you could imagine soldiers disembarking on them to wherever these folks are sent. There are dwarves milling about like everywhere. You see like a few large kind of double doors that are exiting out of this hangar, other like smaller, just person-sized doorways with dwarves coming in and out. And as you're coming in, there's a dwarf who's got like these two torches, and he's kind of like directing you, like guiding you in, Jake, you know, like, okay, put it over here. You see a bunch of other dwarves are like yelling. There's a lot of like wild gesticulating, a couple of them like yelling back and forth at each other as you guys land. And Ben is like, wow, I don't know what I was thinking, but there's probably a lot of dwarves here.
Yeah.
All right. So I should stay with the ship, or am I coming with you guys?
You should stay here, I think.
Yes.
Probably.
Well, you know, if they're gonna be hired by the Sahagwin and they're gonna attack kobolds, you put a simply card with Ben.
Well, I mean,
Or they'll just say they'd kill him, so I don't know.
I wouldn't want to expose Ben to these sort.
you all tell me. I'll defer to your expertise. As Jake now, like, landing the ship, the legs, like... And you see a couple of dwarves are like coming around in front of the ship. There's like a small kind of group massing up around you now, like talking and chattering.
Yeah, okay, you stay here. If we need you, we can come get you.
I would say while we're landing the ship, Reginald would be casting a ritual casting of comprehend languages.
Oh, dope. Okay, cool.
In preparation of possible communication.
Okay. And so the ship.
Oh yeah, does anybody speak Dwarven?
He does.
I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
I
does,
don't,
but
so.
I just in case.
Yeah, I think Reggie and Reya are the dwarvish speakers. So yeah, the ship landed. I think like Doc like coming in is like, I'll keep an eye on everything. Make sure that nobody tinkers with it. We put too much work into it.
Great.
If anything, if we should not return or anything awful happens, leave.
Yeah.
Who is sending stone? If
Oh,
Doc is
yeah.
sending someone, take the other one.
Yep.
Okay.
You take it, Reggie.
Me. Well,
Yeah.
Communications officer.
Yes, I guess I need an open hand.
Okay.
I have an open hand.
You guys gonna disembark. You drop the ramp in the back, and there is this like amassment of dwarves kind of standing, chattering amongst each other. Reya, Reggie, you like understand the dwarvish as they're kind of like commenting back and forth, like, "What the hell kind of ship is this? I've never seen anything like this." And one of them's like, "It's small. It looks well armed, though. Oh, imagine it's got to be nimble. It must be faster than ours." There's like a bunch of chattering back and forth. And as the lot of you are coming off, they're all kind of looking over, and I think you hear a voice from behind, like, all right, look out of me way, would you? And like you see like this group kind of part, As like striding forward is this dwarvish woman. She's got like this kind of golden blonde hair in like these big sort of frizzy curls dropping down around her shoulders. It's like completely untethered, this wild like mane of hair, whiskers trailing down kind of next to her ears. And she's wearing like a pretty ornate kind of breastplate, has all this kind of gold trim around the edges, these like crossed like axe and hammer on the front of it, this big like embossed like gauntlet on each of her pauldrons, right? As she like comes striding forward through the mix. She's got like a bunch of like papers stuffed in her hand, and she's like, hey, well met. Who are you people?
Hello.
The crew of the Dragonfly.
Moradin's beard, I didn't believe it. It's true then. This is the Dragonfly that we've been hearing about.
You've been hearing about us?
Damn right we have.
I would immediately like to do an insight
Yeah.
check based on the tone of what she's
Go for it.
saying. Person for it, but that's what Reginald is doing. 9.
Really hard for you to tell between like the like accent. There's so much kind of other dwarves like pointing and chattering, right? You're like listening to all of them. You're trying to like get a good read on her, but it's really tough, you know. You don't have much clarity here. And she's just like, name is Lustrid Brightforge. Well met.
Hello.
You too,
I'm Lux.
Ram.
I,
The others.
I'm Jake.
and
Well met, a Tortle. Excellent.
mhm.
I should also say Lux looks like her like half elven self.
Oh, okay, Lux undercover.
She's got her shoulder length like red hair and yeah.
Okay, noted.
Yeah. And I think Reginald would say, yes, Jake is a member of our crew. He's a Tortle. I am a Giff-Q. We have a wide variety of peoples upon our crew and our ship.
You lot aren't Dasher clips, are ya?
Huh?
No. No.
Thank the gods
Clancy,
for
yeah.
that. They're like a scourge these days. Everywhere you go, you can't get away from them.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
What are you all doing? This is Ferris Cragdrag's crew here. What are you doing with him?
We helped them out.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
say that we are with him. We were simply following the path that he laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, so is there a reason that you came by? I mean, not for nothing. There's a few of us here been hearing about you. Brazzoli will be very excited to meet with you.
Oh, really?
Oh. We'd actually love to meet Brazzoli.
Yeah, actually, all good things you've been hearing, right? Like, I mean, it's a really cool ship, and
Aye, a lot of things. Yes.
Oh no.
I think that she's just like,
Yeah.
she's like, I'm the high clerist of the gauntlet. Well, I'm not usually down here for such things, but it just so happened. So,
The high what?
clerist.
Sorry? And do I know what that means?
Yeah, I think that you would like get a read that like, she's like, you know, head priest in charge.
Oh, the HPIC.
It looks like you're just drinking Pepto
It
Bismol.
does.
really
I've almost made that comment every
It's pretty
time.
wild. It's like, wow, man.
HP.
I think he just keeps
Chug
sipping.
some
It doesn't
Pepto.
go down. Yeah.
We are grateful to have met you and to be upon the station here. We should make our intentions known. We would like to meet with Brazzoli and discuss matters of import, as well as what I believe to be a prisoner returned by the fellowship with which we accompanied.
Reggie's right. All matters of import, export,
Yeah.
comings and goings. That's what you meant, right? Yeah.
We're
Yes, prayer, whatever you say.
she's like, we're not merchants. We're a fighting force.
Yeah. You export good beats.
We are quite aware of your line of work.
Strong. Yeah.
We were simply curious as to your current role.
Contractual negotiations,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not for me to say, especially not with outsiders. But you can talk it over with Brazzoli, I'm sure. Come on. I can bring you to some quarters. Do you intend on staying for a time?
We can stay on our ship.
Yeah.
Do you intend to? I guess I should
Well,
just
I can't
break.
quite get you a meeting in the next 5 minutes, if that's what you mean. I mean, it'll take us that long to walk upstairs. I have to see what's on his docket, but I'm sure that he'll be able to meet with you for dinner at the worst.
Yeah. Is
Is
there,
that a
like-
rest?
Yeah.
The worst?
The worst?
German.
Is that a planet?
I mean, yeah. Is there
Language
some place we
barrier.
can
We've invented
stay?
India and Germany planets. Yeah, we can stay.
Or like
yeah.
hang out somewhere.
Yes, Jake here, I believe, would appreciate a nap of some sort.
Well, the least
Yeah,
I could do is get
that's
you some refreshments. Come on, come with me. And she's like, your ship, it'll be fine. None of you touch the ship.
What kind of drink? Do any of the ales have special names here?
Oh, of course. I mean, Brazzoli, that was his trade when he was an up-and-coming boy, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What,
So what does he make?
he is in fact a brewer?
Of course he is. Yeah, it's a family name. Goes back generations.
Yeah. That's incredible.
It's fortunate.
That's great. Excited to try some of them out. Yeah.
House vintages, some of the best that we have. Guests such as you, I'm sure he'll want to break out the good stuff. Come on. And I think that she's like walking you through the crowd, dwarves kind of parting in front of you, as you can like see Doc like peering out one of the portholes of like the Dragonfly, right? And as you're coming by the like scavengers, you see Ferris Cragdrag is actually like, he's like walking with Heller, whose like hands are bound down off like the dock of the ship. Dragger, their little construct, just kind of like carrying stuff off the deck down this back ramp, like piling it up, all this kind of salvage and scavenge, right? And they lead Heller down, and you see another group of dwarves that are all wearing like black and silver, and they have these like helms on them with kind of the traditional kind of knight's face guard. You can't actually see their faces, and they seem to be like taking custody of Heller from the scavengers as you walk past. And with that, Lustrid like leads you into one of these doorways. There's all kinds of hustle and bustle here happening in the Citadel. You are like moving down the hall. You hear the sound of hammers on anvils. You smell like the fires of forges down here, like coming up from underneath you. The rooms are the space inside here is very warm. It's worth noting. It's like much warmer probably than the Dragonfly is, bordering on like uncomfortable hot, right? That little bit of like perspiration kind of like working its way out of all of you,
Especially
as you
in
walk.
tweed.
Oh yeah, buttoned all the way up too. And so with that, Lustrid like leading you past like kind of this lower section, forges and stuff. She brings you up a set of stairs, this like spiral staircase. You pass a couple of doors leading out. Most of them are open. The sounds of like dwarves pretty apparent like throughout, echoing through the halls of this place, as she finally like brings you out a few floors above, leading you down a hall where there's like a big room with a lot of like kind of couches in it, these like low tables and chairs, and she's like, she says, I hope this will do as a suitable waiting area for you. Here, have a seat. These are all Chaos Brewer's brews right here. We have a good array. I'm going to go see about getting some of the top shelf stuff for you. Let him know that you've arrived. He'll be very excited to speak with you. I'm sure of it. I'm certain. Is there anything else you need while you wait?
Yes. I couldn't help but ask one more question. What is it exactly that you have?
She, winks at you one could only guess. You look nervous.
I am nervous.
We like to make a good impression, you know?
A few years back, we were hired out by the Azantan family, Malpieri Prime. We heard that a ship landed there not so long ago, got mixed up in some such or another, and that there's been a whole turnover in the dynasty there. Noble family deposed, young daughter raised up, changing the structure of everything on the ground, they say. Was that you all then? Did we hear right?
Well, change can be good.
Did I say it was bad?
No, I'm just saying. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let me ask in turn then. What have you all heard about the gauntlet?
Well, we've asked around and we've literally...
Yeah, honestly, we have no idea.
Yeah.
Only what we've heard from Craig.
Then what are you doing here? Just a curiosity? You want to see the citadel up close?
As we stated, the prisoner who is being brought is someone that we had previously met, and we simply want to ensure that due process is followed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we are explorers.
Explorers? Is that what you are?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, look, I don't know what the Chaos Brewer means to do with your prisoner there. I know that he was handed off as an exchange. There's a good price on his head. We have little personal interest in him. Just acting as middlemen to get him back to the castle guard, from my understanding. Nonetheless, I shouldn't keep him waiting. Let me go tell him you've arrived. I'm sure he'll be able to see to you as soon as he can.
Does Lestrade have any, just the High Clerist, religious symbols?
Yeah. You want to make a religion check? See if you recognize the iconography.
I'm proficient and still not very good.
That was very good.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I think that as you're looking at her, you see this, all the kind of the crests and the adornments on the actual armor itself. And as she turns, you can see that she's got a shield across her back. And it's a hammer and anvil symbol, essentially. An anvil with flames rising up off of it. And you speak Dwarvish. You probably know a decent bit about dwarves compared to other people. But it's the holy symbol of Moradin, the dwarf father, the keeper of the dwarves.
Okay.
Yep. A good deity, by your understanding, if that's of any concern to you.
No Clancy, though.
Nope. And so with that, she strides out of the room, leaving you alone for about 10 minutes, if there's anything that you all want to discuss now.
Is there a reason that we shouldn't tell her why we're here?
I just simply believe we are on someone else's soil. We do not know whether we are friend or foe, and if we give up all of our chits, then we are defenseless. If you believe that we should reveal everything to everyone, then...
No. No, I just was curious if you got a beat on her or anything. But
Quite the opposite. It was enough for me just to understand what she was saying. No offense.
gotcha.
I simply was concerned that, especially as regards to the potential negotiation with the Hagwin, I don't know how widely known that is or how sensitive that topic is, so I didn't deign to bring it up myself. No, that should not preclude any of you from...
No, it makes sense to me.
She did say that, this whole castle guard thing, they're just middlemen.
Yeah.
So no personal stakes, which could be good or could be bad.
Mm-hmm.
It does mean that we could perhaps make some sort of financial transaction, and if they come out ahead, then they see no need to return it to the castle guard. But then Hela is with us, which is...
I mean, could put him to work, You have another ship.
And I think that as this realization comes, you hear the knocking at the door. It's about 10 minutes later, and Lustrid pops her head back in, and she's she says, Ferris is meeting with him now, but he'll see you if you'd like. He's interested in talking to you about this prisoner.
Yeah.
After me.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, she escorts you guys out of the room. Following her kind of down the halls, you ascend another kind of spiral staircase, stepping out into a hallway that she leads you down to this wide set of double doors. And you just hear this booming laughter coming from inside. And this voice says in Dwarvish that Reya and the Professor, you guys understand,
You've done brought me quite a bounty, Ferris. Been too long since we seen ya. But this one, well, we're happy to fork the gold over for it.
And the reply in the voice of Ferris Cragdrag, wouldn't have made it out without these Dragonfly crew. These damn pirates, they're picking up all over the place. And it's at this point that the four of you kind of step in through this door led by Lustrid. And what you see strikes you as strange, as it's a bit of a throne room. Literally, there is this red carpet rolled out, suits of armor lining the walkway up to this big raised dais of stairs, upon which sits, in front of Ferris Cragdrag, a wild-looking kind of a dwarf with a shaved kind of mohawk, his hair graying a bit, these braids woven into his beard. Brazzoli, the Chaos Brewer. I'm just gonna switch screens here on my OBS.
I feel underdressed.
Who is that with Brazzoli?
As you all stride in, I'm just making sure my volumes are all good. As you all stride in and you see this dwarf sitting in this stone kind of throne at the top of the room. There is a dwarf down at the bottom of the dais standing next to him. Ferris has finished talking and is turning, making his way back towards you. But you see standing on the dais, off to Brazzoli's left side, a tiefling woman with this blue hair, her skin very kind of pale, these very sort of straight horns just rising up off her forehead. Her eyes are not quite flickering with blue magic energy like that, but yes, this tiefling woman is kind of standing just behind him and off to the side as Lustrid guides you in. And I think Ferris walking back to you all is thank you again. You saved me crew and me ship, and well, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to help. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
He just kind of nods, making his way past you out of the room. And Lustrid kind of leading you all forward is just Commander, I present to you the crew of the Dragonfly. 'Tis them indeed, by their own words, and their ship, well, it matches all the accountants that we've received. And I think that you guys see this massive, like, dwarf sitting in the throne, like, he's just kind of like eyes moving slowly over the lot of all of you. The tiefling standing quiet behind him, and this, like, low rumbling voice in common is like,
Well met, and welcome to the gauntlet then, Dragonfly. I've heard your name ringing these past months. I did not expect I would have chance to meet with you.
Good things, I hope.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying not to read too much into the fact that we're meeting on a tactical map.
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Okay.
and I think that, yeah, Brazil is just like,
Well, I don't know if all the things I heard is good, but by my understanding, you're quite some scrappers. Fighting here, fighting there.
Fighting everywhere.
Exploring. We're explorers.
Doing a lot of fighting when you're exploring.
Well, we get attacked sometimes. People don't, it happens. I'm sure you understand that.
No, we do not get attacked. We attack.
Right.
Pardon me.
Right.
Is there an issue here?
is there what?
An issue?
I'm sorry. I think he's like,
An issue?
No, you need a tissue, Reg? I could get you one.
No, my
God, no, you're
allergies
gonna stick
on
with the issue. Yeah.
Okay.
I think like his
Yeah.
eyes like narrow as he leans forward a little bit, like,
I do not know. Is there an issue?
No. Reg.
Well, that's good then.
Seem to
Well-
have a bit.
Sometimes issue can just mean topic of conversation, and there might be a topic of conversation we wanted to
It
chat with you about.
definitely has a negative connotation, Reya.
Well, yes, I know, but in this instance, maybe it could mean the not negative one.
Have you come to me with an issue with a negative connotation then?
No,
No.
no. Yeah,
Well,
no.
that's quite
We're just-
fortunate for us.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have much room on me plate for negative connotations these days.
Well,
We don't.
we were actually hoping to talk to you about some things.
Oh,
I think his head
you have, like-
tilts a little bit, and it's at this point, Lux, he's looking at you as you're still talking. I think you guys see the tiefling woman like take a step forward towards him and lean down in next to his ear for a moment,
Okay.
and he's like
Can
listening.
I? Can't hear it all. Is there any?
Make a
Yeah, is there-
perception check.
And Ken Lux as well.
Make a perception check.
All right.
Reginald is not at all paying attention to her. Oh, double nat 20.
Oh, okay, all right.
Heck. Okay.
Lux, you like are leaning in, your eyes kind of like narrowing as you like see the woman like lean down and she begins speaking. Her eye is kind of still lingering on the lot of you out there, and I think that you can't quite hear it, right? She's speaking very low, but you're like reading her lips a little bit, and I think that you make out the words like can't trust them.
Yeah.
Sahagwin
Yep.
would pay for them. And so
Okay.
he then is just like, he kind of like raises his hand, right? And you see like these leathery, like worn dwarvish hands. And like she like leans back up, standing straight next to him. And he's just like,
what is it that brings you here then? You're not folks I would have been seeking out on my own accord, but I'm surprised to see you landing here with us.
I think like you guys would notice like Lux's body language like shifts like pretty dramatically to like a very like defensive and like kind of closed off like stance. Not nothing like significant, but like we've adventured together long enough that you guys recognize that like Lux becomes instantly uncomfortable. They know why we're here. They know why we're here.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you're
so-
going to have to speak up a bit louder than that.
I'm
So-
just clearing my throat. I'm sorry.
We've,
Sorry.
heard that there might be trouble brewing in Cerelia.
Yeah.
You've heard, eh?
Yeah.
Been around.
By my understanding, you all were in Cerelia, and then you left, and now there's a war there.
Yeah, we went there, we killed a bunch of Sahagwin, and then we left.
I mean, I won't mince me words. I'm in the business of war. So you left quite a ripe opportunity for us there.
Are you in the business of war, or are you in the business of making money?
A bit of both, to be honest. There's more than one way to make money in this galaxy. I've sold my fair share of brews, blades. But the fact is that I quite like making war.
I was hoping you'd say you like selling things.
Well, I do like that too.
Well, we're kind of wondering if maybe you could just, watch this one.
Yeah.
I've no interest vested. I do not know what you think or what you've been told, but I don't make my way there with a dog in this fight. He says, we work for the highest bidders. Nothing more, nothing less.
What's your price?
That remains to be seen. He says, as of now, the Sahagwin have sent word. The barons wish to meet with us to negotiate. We have not heard from their opposition, though oft we take offers from both sides.
So you're deciding which side to throw in with, if any?
He says only one has reached out so far. I've no idea what these rebels on the ground, if they have any kind of leadership, let alone resources to be paying us.
Oh, we represent the rebels.
Is that
Yeah.
so?
Little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think they know
Yeah.
it yet. And Jake looks to the rest of the group like, that's why we're here, right?
Yeah. I mean, trying to
Listen,
liberate people, it's tough.
there's a world in which, you get paid by the Sahagwin. You go in there and fight a war that you might not be able to win. Or you could, take the money after you win, whatever. There could be also a world in which a kobold planet could be a rather nice investment for you.
Yeah.
I've heard the kobolds of Cerelia are an industrious folk. Hard workers.
Yeah. You might not make the same amount of money right now, but in the long term, you could make much more money.
The tiefling woman leans over again and is whispering in his ear one more time, and he's just kind of nods a little bit.
I think as she's whispering in his ear, Reginald would attempt to speak up at that point and speak quite loudly in order to break up whatever she's saying.
Okay, I love it.
Mhm.
And I
Amazing.
think
Yeah.
he would say, how much is the most that they've offered in a situation such as this?
He's just
I've not yet met with their delegates.
Thousands? Tens of thousands? How much, roughly?
He says tens of thousands. Normally, we negotiate for a cost up front to be paid in gold to ensure that the families, the kin of our dead, can be given what's due for soldiers lost.
And what does it cost you when you lose a soldier?
He says, We pay 5 years' wages back to their widows or children if they're left. We have honor. We're dwarves. That much ain't been forgotten amongst us. He says, I won't take their coin and turn traitor on them if that's what you're insinuating, Firbolg. If I take a contract, I deliver on it.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if you join the Sahagwin and try to fight, it's not going to be an easy fight. So,
What if you could make coin and not risk the deaths in war, be available to wage war elsewhere?
He's like, thinks for a moment. I think you see him like stroking his beard, and he's like, I've got to ask, what's got the lot of you so invested in what's happening over there? Why do you care what happens to a planet full of kobolds that have been enslaved for centuries already anyway?
Jake imperceptibly takes a small step back.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
because we believe that people shouldn't be enslaved.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, really.
Suffice to say,
Really
I
simple.
don't think it matters why or how we care to you.
No, it does not. Of that you're right. But call me a curious old sort. You're idealists, then.
You're curious?
Not quite a cat, but curious enough.
Good to know.
He says, I know near every warship flying back and forth across the realms. I ain't never heard of a dragonfly before. So when word came that a lot of you were lifting off Cerelia with a revolution burning on the ground, well, I took note.
Perhaps we've done you a favor.
Of that you most assuredly have. If you're here formally representing the rebels, I'll treat with you. You can make an offer. I'm obligated by honor to meet with the barons. I've given my word that I'll sit with them to take theirs. I can't know what it is until that happens, but if your people want to bid better,
When are you supposed to be meeting with them?
I think that, he's like, 16 days.
And they're on their way here?
Nay,
From Cerelia?
we go to Cerelia. Very ill-equipped to leave the world. They don't have ships of their own. We will send a force to retrieve their ambassadors from the ground.
You say you're honorable, but what's honorable about helping a dictatorship empire enslave people?
I think it's at this point that you hear like, and like he turns his head a little bit and looks at the tiefling and is like, he just looks up at her as he glances back to you and is like,
I offer my word, and it's true. Honor don't go much further than that. If I agree to fight for someone, then I fight for them.
No, it can go much further than that. You can have, you call this idealist. You could have ideals that you live by,
Yeah. Honor code or something.
and I think it's at this point the tiefling woman takes like half a step forward, like even with the dais, and he like looks at her for a second, and she's just like, I am sorry. I have not introduced myself properly to the lot of you. I am,
Yeah, no.
she says, I am Amelia Vernus. I am here, of course, as an emissary, representative and negotiator of sorts for the organization. You are very bold to challenge the honor of Commander Brazzoli Chaos Brewer here in the heart of his citadel. We do not fight for ideals amongst the gauntlet. We fight for
How
contracts.
long have you been not fighting for ideals for?
And I think that she like turns and looks at you, her eyes narrowed, like,
Oh, now, what I think my friend means is, are there other things that you fight for besides coin and honor? That's clearly, Troy knows that's not at all what Taylor said, but
yeah. I think that she, like, her eyes narrowed as she's, like, glaring at Lux. She replies to you, Professor, like, no. We take contracts and see them completed. Nothing more and nothing less. To act outside that would jeopardize our standing amongst the guilds. A mercenary company, of course, is no better than their allegiance to the contracts. That is all. That is what governs
I think Lux
us.
like pretty actively like looks around the tiefling like to Chaos Brewer and is like, "You ever thought about shaking things up, Chaos Brewer?"
And he's like, what are you implying, girl?
If we could just turn down the heat in this room, goodness. And like the professor is sweating profusely.
Yeah. It's at this point that I think Amelia is like, I believe that that's your suit. But let's all just take a breath here. I agree with the good professor. We should turn down the heat, as, quite frankly, I'm sure all of you are very aware that there are prices on your heads.
I'm sorry.
And
I didn't give you my name.
didn't you?
No. None of us did. But that's good to know.
What do you...
We gave it to somebody.
You did. Jake.
Yeah.
I'm Jake.
I think she turns and looks at you like, yes, I know. And she's like, you didn't give me your name, so you may as well consider me informed.
Did the Sahagwin put the price on her head?
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, sounds like they have money that we could, when the kobolds overthrow them, you could just have all the money.
And I think she's like looking back, like, and he just kind of shakes his head for a minute, and she's like, you all are very fortunate. Very fortunate that Commander Chaos Brewer does operate by his code of honor, ideals or no, as she looks back towards Lux. And I think that glancing back towards him, she, like, takes a step back again behind the throne, and he's like, everybody just relax.
Listen, I'm not trying to be confrontational.
But,
It's not really.
but,
I just want to make it clear that we're kind of the opposite of you. And, no. Hang on. We're not interested in coin. Okay? We are here because we care about people being enslaved and disagree with it.
And so you thought you'd appeal to my good nature.
No,
No,
Reya.
I'm actually going to appeal to the side of you that likes money. If the kobolds win, there's a lot of money to take from the Sahagwin. So, it's
We
a
found
better
a whole
investment.
barrel of money just hanging around in some cave.
And you'll have better allies than you would with the Sahagwin.
I think like he's like chuckling at you, Lux. A whole barrel, you say?
What? You say that you are bound by contract. You are bound by honor, yes?
That's right.
So, let us make a contract now. You say that you must meet with the Sahagwin as part of your code. There is nothing we can do to stop you from doing that. But perhaps we could propose that, at very least, we get the opportunity for a counter-offer.
Of course. I'm happy to receive one from you.
And
What
so
would
thus,
you suggest?
you agree not to sign any contract with the Sahagwin until we have had an opportunity to respond.
I think that he's like,
I think, good sir, this is your opportunity. If you would like some time to gather yourselves, perhaps to contact your allies on the ground there and determine what you might put forth, as it seems that while you have been presented as formal negotiators, you're a little uncertain as to your terms. But if what the good Firbolg says is true, and there is that much wealth to be had for the victors, then I might be very amenable to signing such a contract with you. I will entertain any offer you present to me, and should it be lucrative enough, then I assure you, I would gladly sign on with the lot of you over the fish folk. I have no interest in which side wins this. That said, if there's a better win to be had, then I would play to that side of it. My advisor knows much and more, so keep that in mind as you consider what offers you might present me.
I have a question for you, sir.
Of course, my good man.
When is the last time you have had regular engagement with a group of individuals who regularly ventures past the orbit of Rune?
Infrequent. He says, I have a few such as old Ferris here, scavengers. Business such as this, we're always looking for, well, all of it. Food, ore, wood. Supplies are inconsistent when your home moves as this one does.
The stomping grounds of scavengers such as these compares in no way to, say, a set of explorers whose boundaries know no bounds.
I think he's like,
If you're suggesting a more formal affiliation or perhaps a bit of a closer relationship, I certainly have some interest in information from elsewhere. That's my lifeblood, let alone actual resources.
That is good to know. We will take that under advisement when we present opportunities back to you.
and I think he nods, and it's at this point that the tiefling like touches him on the shoulder, and he's like, his eyes like, and he sighs like,
What about the prisoner? My understanding is that's why he came to chat.
Did anything happen when she did she just touch the shoulder, or did anything
roll an insight check.
I love insight check.
Like, did she cast as he? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, you do.
As you touch as she touches his shoulder, you see his eyes close and his like jaw clench for a little bit, right? It's like the tensing of the jaw, this like movement in his beard that you're able to read. And I think that with the 23 Reya, like that's pretty high. I think that like you can like perceive that it's like that like acceptance, that kind of like exhausted, like I just can't fight anymore, you know.
Resignation.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Got it.
And he's just like,
I understand that you came to speak about the prisoner.
You paid a bounty for them.
In this matter, the Gauntlet acts as a representative of Ibsen's Castle Guard. He has been promised to them.
I'm sure you have a contract already.
Ironclad, unfortunately.
he doesn't say, unfortunately.
What
I'm editorializing.
will happen when they are given over to the castle guard?
He shrugs like, by my understanding, he stole a very expensive, very powerful weapon from them. I imagine that they will do all in their power to retrieve that which was lost and punish the insubordinate.
How much would it be worth to the castle guard to know where that which was lost is?
I think that, like, the woman, the, like, tiefling at this point is just, like,
Taylor with the eye roll. She hates her already.
No, I don't.
The woman, the tiefling woman.
Amelia is just like, her eyes, like, dart to you, like, why? Do you know where it is?
If we did, would that be of interest?
Yes. It does not change the fate of the prisoner.
We shall take that under advisement, as we discuss. If I may, one more question, at least of mine. It's for Chaos Brewer. Are you married? Do you have a family?
I'm married. To me company. To me men. And to me hammer. I had a family. They're all dead. This is my family now.
Charming. Anything else? I believe we should need to discuss terms.
Right, and I think it's at this point that Amelia is like, she like steps forward, like in front of Chaos Brewer, coming down the stairs, right? This dwarven soldier next to her is like looking at her like very kind of nervously. Lustrid is like over here on the side, like just eyes, like her back is to you as she's looking at Chaos Brewer. And Amelia is just like, you are welcome to stay for as long as you need. I presume there won't be any trouble here as, well, you're surrounded by an army of dwarven warriors, and you seem wise. Take as long as you need to gather your thoughts.
And you said you're an advisor?
She just, like, looks at you. Did I?
I don't know. Did you? Just curious.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So, we should go. You know, heard there's some great chaos
Appreciate
brew out
your
there. You know,
attention and leadership.
So you guys-
difficult privilege and burden.
You guys tell me. You want to go back to the ship? You want to go back to your waiting room? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I think Lux is like
The ship.
stalking like back to the ship. Like
no, I would.
Oh.
No, I want to. I want to drink somewhere where there might be other
Oh,
dwarves around.
sure. Absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. Drinks sound good.
As you're like leaving, I think Lustred says, "The fellow at the gate at the door will take care of you." And so as you guys like reach the door, there is like this dwarf there. He's like wearing like very simple kind of like chainmail, his hair tied back in this braid, and he's like, drinking. Yeah, we got ourselves 12 taverns here at the Citadel, one on
12?
every floor. That's right.
That's great.
Okay.
Come on, I'll bring you
Let's
to the
go.
good one. You want the one that
What's your name?
my name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he says my name is Daniel.
Daniel. Great.
I
Okay.
think the professor pulls out the sending stone and says, "Doc, I think we're going drinking if you'd like to join us. They are not going to kill us quite yet."
And I think that from the ship you hear Doc like, I'd really love to. That last bar was great, but Ben's got it up his head that he's got to keep up the ghost routine now that Badman's gone, and it's just that I think you hear from like the and she's like, it's a lot. I'm just trying to keep everything together here.
Oh my god.
Just imagining like there's like a camp where it's like basically paranormal activity, but just Doc chasing old Ben.
And I see old Ben like E.T. in the robe.
Flying because he can
Oh
fly.
my
Yeah.
Sorry, Doc. You didn't even wait till you listen to the first half of the VOD, Melissa.
Yeah, oh
my
gosh.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Waffle
Are you
for
trying?
sale.
Are you sorry?
Shh. Find out. Anyway, so Doc can join us whenever, if that happens to be the next time or whatever. But, yeah. So are we going drinking?
Yes.
Before the thing I've been thinking about a lot is what does Cerelia export or like create? What do like when they're
Not
enslaved?
wood, because they said they wanted wood, and I was
Uh-huh.
thinking no.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, this is me talking out of character, but
They export a ton of actual like minerals and stone and stuff like that that's like actually excavated from the bottom of the ocean. Definitely not wood. There's all manner of like strange specific seaweeds and stuff, like food delicacies on other worlds, right? And like ore, metal, all that kind of stuff. Specifically.
No sushi.
Kurt just put sushi in the
like-
chat.
Like, do they? There's no manufacturing. Well, we've only been to Barodo. I don't know how much other. Right. So, do we know if there's any manufacturing of things from?
On Cerelia,
Cerelia?
yeah, absolutely. I think like in your travels over the months, Ben would have told you that there are a couple of other cities that have like various, like, you know, it's not like an industrial world in that sense, but like, yeah, there are like craftsmen, all manner of like building people. And there is actually like probably like a small like outcropping of like art of like coral and shells, pearls, all of this kind of stuff, right? So the manufacturing is like less industrial and like more like art related, I would think.
And are the other planets controlled by the Sahagwin?
No. What do you mean?
Or the other planets? Sorry, cities.
Yes. The Sahagwin had like kind of like a stranglehold on the whole like world, right? On most of the other cities as well. While Rorota was like the one place you went to of the capital. The idea was like you helped your buddy Restran and there retake the portal to the plane of water. And so
Peanut butter yogurt.
peanut butter yogurt
Yeah.
was apparently reestablishing like transport from the Tritons to Cerelia, right? So
Got it.
that's
Oh, yeah,
like,
remember the Tritons?
yep, remember the
Yeah, there is like a Triton army, right?
I'm not even apologizing. Kurt. I'm not even
apologizing.
What I would leave is gone.
Oh man.
What I would be, so I'm thinking about that, and then like I guess the dwarf is there, so I'm whispering to somebody, whoever is closest near me, to be like, we should look for like if there's weakness. You know, what do these do they need something? Is there something that Cerelia could provide them that they don't currently have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A conscience.
I'll say it to Lux.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, but
I think that Daniel brings you to like one of the taverns. I think it's called the Brass Kettle, and yeah, he like situates you guys in here, and like he like makes it pretty clear like how to get back down to the hangar. Like I'm sure if you just ask anybody, they'll be happy to help you. It's not that often that we have such exciting people stopping by to visit here.
We are excited.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you're very exciting. I mean, we've heard. I mean, some of us, not all of us. I try to keep my nose to the grindstone, my ear to the brass conduits, and you hear reverberations, echoes in the hammer, the echoing off the anvil. It's stories. They reverberate. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. What kind of stories?
Deeply.
Reverberating.
Well, they say that a lot of you are a bunch of shit stirrers with an old military vessel, that you've got one of the ancient Elven Armada ships that you've restored and polished it up. I gotta say, I saw it in the hangar. It's very, very nice. Very, very nice. I've not seen any kind of a ship like that before, and nothing personal. I'm sure we could smite it right out of the fucking stars. I mean, we've got a lot of cannons on this thing. It's a giant fortress, but it looks nimble. It's fast. I mean, it looks all kinds of agile. It's very shiny on the outside of it. But we heard that when you went to Cerelia, you started a revolution, that you turned up those weakling, worthless little feeble kobolds are now fighting the Sahagwin, and they're ferocious. There's 10 of them to every Sahagwin. It's a real shit show on the ground from what we've been catching.
Hey, are the people? Just a quick poll here. Are the people here pretty excited about going to beat up those little weakling? Those little weakling kobolds? Because it sounds like that's where you might be headed.
I'll be honest with you, they're not really. We don't really want to go fight kobolds. What kind of a fight is that? I mean, you just look at them sideways, and half of them have heart attacks. They're terrified little people. I mean, they're so frail and fragile. I could just
We've met a bunch of them. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's okay.
What would be a suitable enemy that you would be excited to fight against?
I'll be honest with you, our best jobs, our best work, nothing personal here. He's looking at you, Reya. I mean, some of you are really big. There's nothing personal. But really, we like fighting giants.
Yeah,
we like fighting things where we can smash their kneecaps. We got axes.
Yeah.
We have hammers. We smash the kneecaps. We cut the legs out from under them. Then we swallow them on top of them like a mass of bugs. That's really where we do our best fighting.
Well, you gotta have good kneecaps.
I don't think I have kneecaps.
I mean, we're special trained for fighting giants. It's in dwarven blood. It goes back to some of our earliest days. That's how we ended up under these damned mountains to begin with, until one day a great dwarf discovered to himself, let's cut the mountain right off of the earth and shoot it up into the stars. And so that's why we're flying around in mountains now.
Certainly unlikely that you, who just led us here to the tavern, knows of any planets where giants are causing disruptions, do you?
That would be very, very convenient,
It would
wouldn't it?
be so
That would be remarkably convenient if I knew of such a place. I do, as a matter of point. What do you say to that?
Yeah?
He says, fire giants. Fulm Termin. It's a planet on the far side of the reach here. It takes us forever, though. I mean, we're not supposed to say bad things about the Citadel, but they move really slowly. So slowly. We just crawl. It's like a snail, just barely crawling across.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. What's the planet?
Fulm Termin.
Oh, that's kind of near Paven.
It sort of is. It's a bit of a mystery, but the truth of the matter is we took a contract there. 23 years passed. There's fire giants in that place. They're scoured the whole land.
You have a contract there, but you aren't there?
Not me. Was my uncle. He told me the story of what happened. I'm just a young lad. You see, you can tell because my beard is so short.
But your uncle or the whole gauntlet?
The gauntlet. The contract's done and paid with. We were hired by some fire giants to...
Oh.
Well, we're not really supposed to talk about those kinds of things, so I probably shouldn't say much more than that.
I mean, we're like neutral party here. Like, doesn't matter to us. Just curious. We're explorers, you see.
I know.
I'm really not supposed to say anything. Probably I already said.
But, we're like guests and like,
Daniel,
it'd be
yeah.
nice,
Who did the fire giants? Who doesn't like the fire giants? Who? I don't understand all of this.
Okay.
Who did they?
Yeah,
who
tell
did
us,
you?
tell
Who
us.
did
Okay,
you?
you talked
Renew
me
the
into
contract.
it.
Who
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you beat?
No, you talked me into it. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The whole planet was a great mountainscape. They say fiery mountains that would bleed molten rock up out of the inside of them. We were hired. I'm sorry. I get very excited when I talk about fiery mountains.
You
keep
color.
keep going. Yeah.
You paint a magnificent canvas.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We were hired
Jake,
by the fire giants to go to that place to kill a whole bunch of salamanders.
Oh,
They wanted to establish some kind of new home world, and they had some kind of information about how the crust of that place, the crust of the planet, was shattered like 1,000 years ago by some terrible magics, and now the rivers run with lava.
And no salamanders anymore.
I can't be sure. I mean, that was my uncle telling me the story before I even joined the gauntlet. But what I understand
Just like
is
tiny little salamander. The fire giants needed help to fight these little tiny salamanders.
Oh, no, big,
no,
nasty
they're
salamanders that
quite
come
large.
stumbling from the plane of
What?
fire. Giant fiery swords and fiery armor. They got smoke rolling out of their mouths and real
Whoa.
nightmare bastards. Giant fiery lizards. Not dragons.
yes.
Yeah.
It is one of the closest neighbors to Kisandi, and we have received word of the salamanders. They are quite fierce and do not do well with diplomacy nor study. Jake, I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to say something.
he leans forward and whispers, like, this guy is exhausting me. I'm going to head back to the ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Rest well.
You do look exhausted, actually.
a little
You flew the ship like the whole
a
night.
little tired. But
Yeah.
anyway, I bid you farewell, friend. And
Hey, yeah. Pleasure to meet you, big buddy. I mean,
and Jake takes him up on his offer that anybody can direct him to the hangar.
Yes, absolutely. The dwarves are very friendly, and they're just like, oh, it's a Tortle! Oh, come on, Tortle! And they're like walking you through. They're like shouting you. They're able to like guide you back down towards the hangar. As the three of you were like still like sitting here with Dan on. Dan was like, listen, the fact is that well, we caught word there's some giants. They would love to go to Foamterm and they have some axe to grind with the fire giants that situated themselves there some decades past. And a bunch of the boys and me, well, we got excited. It's been a long time since we've done fighting any giants. We thought we might go back there and fight them, but now we're not. We're going to talk to the fish people, and so we just go where the boss sends us. But I mean, yeah, we wonder about the boss sometimes. It is. I mean, so.
Oh, yeah, it is very fun.
I have many wonders about the boss.
Daniel, can I ask you a question?
I mean, it
Now,
seems like that's what we're doing a lot
I
of
know-
is
I know.
questioning.
I know. Well, you're really nice, and you seem really cool, and I like your stories.
You mean that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I think his cheeks are starting to blush a little bit. Like, well, I mean, a lot of folks, they don't really like me stories, but I get really worked up. I get really animated, and it's not that often that we get to meet outsiders. So,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I very much so understand that. Listen, the woman, Amelia. Yeah, there it is.
The tiefling woman?
What's her deal? Why she was like speaking for the commander, like crazy.
I can't say.
Okay,
I really shouldn't say.
you shouldn't say. Well,
Listen,
Well,
I kind of quite think real nice a lot of you, and you shouldn't ask that. Don't go asking that around here. Don't go asking these folks around here.
well, I know. I thought you were.
It's not. It's the kind of question that gets you in a little bit of trouble. You don't want to go asking that question.
Okay.
but But if we were to ask someone else that question, what do you think they would say?
I really shouldn't say.
We're already sharing stories. We could tell you a story in return if you want. Got some good stories.
I'll tell you what. How about we say, and then you just tell us if we're wrong.
Then you're not really telling us.
For example, oh goodness, we love her so much. She represents our values.
And I think he's like,
She's been here for so long.
no.
The Chaos Brewer seems to have changed since she arrived. Yes, that's what I would feel. She is a threat to the gauntlet. There is some already organized faction against her.
I wouldn't know nothing about that. I really shouldn't be staying here very much longer. This is a kind of conversation that's a little bit dangerous. It's been quite a pleasure meeting you.
It's my pleasure, Dan. Yeah.
She's here from Ibsen's Castle Guard. I gotta go! All right, it's been great. That's been real nice. We'll see a lot of you. I'm gonna go find your Tortle and maybe see if I can paint my name on a shell. All right, have a good afternoon.
Bye.
And like he gets up and so he's like walking and he's like
3 cheers for the visitors!
and a couple of dwarves look at him like, you're fucking drunk, Dano. You know, like they're all like, and a few of them like raise their mugs to you as like he kind of like makes his way to the door and he gives you, I think, one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like lumbers out.
Lux like sighs, like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Doc, Jake is on his way and would like to rest. Also, someone might try to write his name on Jake's shell, and please do not allow that. I don't think he'd like that.
Absolutely will not, and thank God I need another adult on this ship. And I think that probably with like the three of you like sitting in the bar, Jake walking up to the Dragonfly, like Doc lowering the ramp from the inside, that's where we'll leave our adventures today.
Yeah, I think so.
Yay!
I hope that was fun, you guys. That was very interesting. We went like a lot of like interesting places. I love like role playing for 3 hours. That was very fun.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know what.
There's
like,
so much. There's so much that just happened in the last 3 hours.
so much has happened.
It feels like a lot's happened. Yeah, I've given you guys a lot of paths.
There's a big part of that was like when I don't think we should go back. I'm like, can you just go to the Gauntlet? We definitely don't have to go to Cerelia. Absolutely a lie. Yeah.
What did you think? If this isn't revealing too much, Rich, what did you think the odds of us fighting on that map today were?
50-50, you know. I'll be honest, there was a very real part of me that's like, Lux is going to say some shit.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
like I'm not going to be able to justify like not attacking. I don't know. There's a very real chance that next week is like the prison break episode. You know? I don't know. Like I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe there's a fight here. There's a very real chance that they'll piss off the Chaos Brewer.
Mm-hmm. Or piss off Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Lux. She cannot hide her intentions.
If I've learned anything
Nope.
in playing D&D with Taylor for 3 years, it's all you need to
Knows
do is shove
exactly.
a prissy, uptight person who just slightly, all I have to do is this. Just my head like this, so I'm talking a little bit down my nose, and she's done, man. She's like, burn it to the ground. You are my sworn enemy.
I mean, she's clearly like Grima Wormtongue, right, in this guy's ear, and it's
That's what I'm
like,
sorry.
Who's that? I don't
When
know.
when the
Yeah, I'm
poke
not
on the
sure.
shoulder, I was like,
absolutely,
oh.
and she's like talking for him and like standing in front of him, like, yeah, that's the bad news.
Very,
The-
very interesting.
Reginald has a very different perspective on that, so we'll learn
Mhm.
about that.
Very interesting. Guys, thank you all for joining me tonight. We've been planning on taking the first Tuesday of every month off, but because the internet abandoned me last week and we were down a week anyway, you guys all rallied. So I'm very happy to have you. Thank you for that. It was fun getting back to the Dragonfly. I miss it when we don't play. And I'm going to continue fighting the good fight against OBS and seeing if I can get the audio figured out. We'll see. Maybe someday. This is pretty serviceable, I hope, for anybody hanging out there. I hope that the desync isn't too frustrating. Yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts, closing thoughts? Was there anything like big that I should take note of from this session here?
No.
Okay.
No. Thank
Great.
you.
Good. Then I've got all my notes that I need to take note of.
Nothing that should be said on stream.
Probably not. So, my friends, what do you guys have going on in the world? Kurt, you got anything you want to like point us towards? You got anything you're working on? Anything you're watching, or you just want to like us to be paying attention to?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Do you have any advice about like whether like if you have an important thing you need to deliver, should you take the highway or no?
Okay.
Just generally, like if the highway seems faster versus a side road, should you take the highway? Or
If
should
you are employed in a job where somebody is dependent on you for food, and you are, say, delivering said food, and you have two options to take, you're asking yourself, do I take my way or do I take the highway? You, for the sake of all that is holy, please take the highway because I'm hungry. That is all.
This is another moment where like I just have fish songs on loop in my head to take the highway to the Great Divide. I don't know if I'm alone, Taylor, if it's just me or what. What about you, my friend? What do you got going on? Is there anything you want to like point out in the world? Anything you're paying attention to? Anything we should be paying attention to?
Oh gosh, just be nice to each other. Things
Yeah.
are crazy out in the world, so just, be kind to people and be thoughtful. But yeah, nothing crazy going on with me personally, but
Seconded, firmly. Be nice to each other out there, folks. It's crazy enough as it is. Troy, how about you? Anything we should just be aware of, be thinking about?
Oh, you know me. I've
considering?
always got something to say. It is March 1st, which means
Yeah.
we are on the bridge of Black History Month and Women's History Month. So learn your history, folks. And if you see interesting articles or like tweets or things, that's what that's about. Not necessarily for me. I'm not the expert on history, but just like take this opportunity. We're dealing with a thing in Kentucky right now where certain people want to legislate like how children are learning history in schools in like really uncomfortable ways, in my opinion. And so I just like, what my good vibe to send out to the world is like knowing your history is part of understanding your current. And so learn the history, folks, and let's all love each other and peace and all the good vibes in the world. The weather is going to get better, and so enjoy that as it comes over the next month as well.
It's very important. I can't emphasize that enough too. There was a point in my life where it's like, oh, history's boring, oh, this and that. Like, if you're here watching us at the end of 3.5 hours of D&D, go learn your history. It will make you a better D&D player. It makes you like a better everything role player. There's so much stuff that you're just going to be better off knowing than not. There's a lot of like real world that has happened in the last few thousands of years that will just equip you to be a better human tomorrow, should you be aware of some greater portion of it today. Seconded. Grace, you got stuff going on. You're hustling, you're bustling, you're all over the place. Podcasting, what's up?
All over the place,
Okay,
Grace. Can we make that a thing?
Yeah.
Euphoria. We finished the season finale aired. So we podcasted about that, Amon and I, with Mari Forth. We will be back next week with a recap feedback show. If you have feedback for Euphoria, send it our way. We'll be joined by Bryce Isaiah, so it'll be very fun. Then I'm not done with Sunday nights on HBO because I'm going to be starting to cover Winning Time, the HBO show about the Los Angeles Lakers in the 80s with Jason Reed, doing Raised by Wolves coverage. There's a new pirate show called Our Flag Means Death that I'm covering. Weekly movie coverage. Rich and I have something cooking that you should see in your feeds very soon.
A cooking podcast.
Valhalla. Yeah, cooking podcast. Lots of other stuff. I'm on Twitter at High From Grace. I've been starting to Twitch a bit, stream, twitch.tv/High From Grace. I've been doing some co-op stuff on Fridays, so that seems like been fun. And yeah, lots of stuff.
Awesome. You guys should go follow Grace. You certainly should follow her here on Twitch. We have been streaming Raft every like week on Friday. If my internet doesn't abandon us, like I'd be down to do it again this week. That was like a lot of fun.
Raft Judkins.
Raft Judkins is the name of our raft. Yes, we've been streaming that with like some friends of ours. The great like Nate, our boy, the BB president, is like hanging out with us while we're streaming. We have podcasts coming up, Vikings Valhalla. That is fun. It should be appearing on the post-show recaps feeds in like the next couple of days. I'm sure you'll see both of us tweeting about that. I just finished coverage of Vox Machina, the animated series that was on Amazon Prime. That was a blast, getting to talk about that with Mike Bloom every week. We did an accompanying like Critical Role spoiler podcast with folks that you see around here, notably like Austin Smith and the great Melissa Woodward, who's not here with us tonight. We're with me and Jess Sterling talking about the animated series of Vox Machina with the full spoiler perspective. That's been a bunch of fun. I've got a bunch of stuff in the works. I'm behind the ball. I hope to have bigger announcements for today, but I'll just have them for another day, and that is fine. Thank you guys all for stopping in, for hanging out with us tonight, for like saying hello, chilling out through our journey through space as the crew of the Dragonfly. Did a lot of negotiating and questioning and role-playing, which is amongst my favorite things in the role-playing games,
Okay.
It's the good stuff. And I think that with that, I will say to you all thank you, and we will be back next Tuesday with more Dragonfly. Until then, be well, take care of yourselves, and fight the good fight out there, my friends. Bye-bye.